Welcome to the Listen to Us Rant About Movies podcast. Let's start the show. Here are your hosts, Wes Ford and Zach Harris.
I'm Wes Ford.
And I'm Zach Harris.
We rant about movies and drink while we do it. Tonight we have our favorite guest back with us. We have Sean Pierce.
Hey!
Oh, hello.
Hey!
Hello, friends.
How's it going?
Oh, it's amazing. Last year since we last spoke,
Yeah.
probably the best year of my life. Things have been gravy, and I think you're going to see a lot of positivity tonight.
Yeah, so much positivity.
Yeah.
What a great year it's been. Also, on this episode, we'll be counting down our top 10 favorite films of 2020, our annual tradition that we do here on the podcast. It will be as much of a surprise to each of us as it will be for you, as like every year we do this, we have not discussed our list yet, so we don't know what each of us is going to say. We'll follow the countdown with some follow-ups, shout-outs, and mentions for film and television. Tonight we're drinking separate beers. I decided to pick up something that the title kind of caught me and sounded good. It's called Pulp Friction by Motorworks Brewing. It's an IPA with grapefruit.
Ooh.
You guys can check out the can there.
Nice.
Very nice, yeah.
I like that bold friction.
Yeah.
Have you tried it?
I have.
Good
Yeah.
stuff?
It's good. It's real good. Nice and easy. It's a nice 6.8.
Oh,
Not too bad.
nice.
It's got a strong like grapefruit flavor to it.
Grapefruit.
So, yeah.
Killer.
Cool.
What are you guys drinking?
I've got, I don't know, I think it's new. I haven't seen it before. Pipeworks Genuine Bach. Which has a nice little goat in a vest on the label, which I enjoyed.
Snazzy.
And I'm just a big Pipeworks fan. I like Pipeworks a lot. It's been my go-to beer of recent, trying all their shit. So I figured, hey, this one's a cool 6.7. Thought it might be a good, one to try for the cast. So.
There you go.
On this snowy Chicago night,
Beautiful weather. And then I'm drinking Miller High Life, the champagne of beers, because tonight I'm celebrating.
Champagne.
Just celebrating popping champagne, because as everyone on the podcast knows, I'm a huge Tampa Bay Buccaneers fans. Kind of my thing. They won the Super Bowl, kind of my team. So just celebrating the Bucs, going Buck wild.
Brady, man, the goat. You know. Did you guys watch last night?
Hey, the goat. I got a goat. Is that a coincidence?
Yeah.
Who's to say?
It's the goat. You did it. You planned it.
I did watch. I watched.
I did
came
not.
in and out, but it seemed like Brady just dominated. It seemed like.
Yeah, it was very
Brady.
surprising.
Classic Brady.
But it was good. It's good.
Nice.
All right. Cool. Well, let's give a little sip. Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Celebrate. Celebrating the year that has been cinema, and I think I can speak for everyone to say the greatest year in cinema.
Absolutely.
It's true.
What a just blow the hinges off year. You know what I mean? Just really week after week, new things flooding the gates.
No bloat, tons of top tier grade A sirloin. There was no fat.
I was at
to
the
trim
theater
on this
like
year.
every weekend.
Oh yeah.
I was there.
I don't even know how many
consumed.
movies I watched this year. So much new content.
I watched a lot.
Yeah.
I make a list each year on Letterboxd of all the movies I watched that year.
Yeah.
And I kind of went back and I was like, honestly, compared to the other years, like how many did I watch? This past year, way less.
Really?
Way
Well, I
less.
mean, you did have a baby, but
Baby.
Wait,
also, not a lot of movies.
Yeah.
No,
are you
saying-
talking total movies or only movies of that release year?
Of that release year.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
for
Okay.
sure. Yeah.
Of that
How about
release year.
total?
Yeah.
Do you think this year was a big movie watching year? Because I think probably the most movies I've watched in a couple of years.
I definitely watched a lot. Probably a lot of television. Probably
Yeah.
more television.
Yeah, I think
But
I'm Or
Yeah.
what were you saying? I'm sorry.
No, I definitely watched a lot because we're home and stuff.
Yeah.
But 2020 films alone was not. I mean,
For sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
a lot there. Yeah.
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 I feel like I watched a similar. I feel like early quarantine, I watched a ton. I would watch like at least one movie every day, probably 2, if not 4. But recently I haven't been watching as much, and I feel like the end of the year dipped me off. I feel like I probably watched equatable amounts of movies to the past couple of years.
Yeah. That's. I mean, it's exciting though to like start out. Maybe 2021 will be your big year.
Maybe, who's to say?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you guys think about the year overall, though, with film? Like overall, the results of what you have seen that came out of 2020.
It was a soft year.
Soft
Yeah,
year.
I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we were talking about it early on when we were talking about this list. I was like, I don't think I have enough. Like, I've seen 10 movies, but like to curate a list, what am I just gonna rank the 10 movies I've seen? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think things changed.
We were talking about. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, as the year went on, things changed, and I feel like there was like a push at the end where like a lot of stuff came out, and I also just caught up on stuff I missed.
Yeah.
But
That's how it usually goes every year too. Obviously less this year, but we were approaching the end of the year, like we were October, fall or something. We were like, I don't know, are we gonna have enough to do a top 10?
Yeah.
Because at that point there was like literally nothing. Like there was like.
Yeah, it's like I can think of like 3 or 4 maybe. Like,
yeah, maybe 4. Yeah, but I think near the end of the year I was able to. More things came out, and I was able to catch up on some other stuff that I feel like I was confident enough to make a decent list.
Yeah.
But I mean, my films in the list this year, there's some amazing ones that came out, I think, this year. But that amount of amazing films was so much smaller compared to, I think, last year.
Yeah.
Like last year, like 2019, I feel like I was like 10 wasn't enough.
Yeah, totally.
I think we actually did a top 30 that year. Do you remember?
I think that was that was of the
might have been the year
we did
before.
A top 20 of the decade.
Oh yeah.
No, we actually. Oh, did we? Yeah.
Yeah, I think
maybe that's what I'm thinking.
I think it was the decade. But I know we like listed off a lot of.
I think I did like 10 honorable mentions last year.
Yeah, there were a lot of honorable mentions, and I think you ranked them too, Sean, didn't you? Am I mistaken in that? Did you rank them?
I'm a ranker for sure, but
last minute ranker.
I still got some work to do as we talk. I gotta make some hard choices. I'm gonna hurt a lot of filmmakers tonight because a lot of filmmakers are listening to this, seeing what
just waiting
my
to hear
list
what
is
you
be.
have to say. Yeah,
and I'm gonna break some hearts, and it's not easy to do. I don't enjoy doing it, but I do it for the fans, and that's why I'm back here tonight.
It's exactly.
Give it up for Sean.
Brave. So brave.
So brave.
Well, before we actually dive into our top 10s, I think Ronnie had something to say.
This podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/LTURAM. Choose from 180,000 titles from your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. Now back to you, Wes.
If you like what you hear on this episode, remember you can find other episodes of our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and all other major podcast platforms. All right, let's go ahead and get into the top 10.
Okie doke.
Cool. Great.
It's fucking dope.
Switched around the order a little bit this year. Sean, you're starting it off, man.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. Thrilled to be here. I was actually talking before the show with Ronnie, and I found out he's not a movie lover. I asked why he never participates in the list, and he said he hasn't watched any movies. So interesting. Learned something new about Ronnie. A little peek behind the curtain. Ronnie doesn't like movies. Only likes daytime television. So
he's not. He's
more into the
guy. You know.
He's more into the beer aspect of the podcast. You know?
Exactly.
He wants to see what we're drinking and
absolutely, absolutely, yeah. Solid talker. He was a bit chatty for me, but all in all,
little slow too.
Yeah,
Just
a great addition to the cast. You know, I was kind of thinking if you added a third member, you'd maybe tap your favorite guest. But you know, I'm glad that I'm glad that Ronnie, some fucking nobody, got the nod. But whatever, guys, whatever. And that brings us little segue to my number 10 of the year, The Nest.
Nice. Haven't seen that.
Yeah, well,
haven't either.
I just decided on this, and I would say that Sean Durkin, who did Martha, Marcy, May, Marlene, I think that's his only other feature. I wasn't a huge fan of that. It didn't really speak to me, and so I wasn't really anticipating the follow-up. I liked the cast. I've been on a big Jude Law kick and quite enjoy Carrie Coon, so I was like, oh, let me check this one out. And I was just really impressed with it. It hit a sweet spot, a lot of domestic squabbles, and takes place in the 80s in England, and there's like a bit of a new wave bent of like them going out to London and certain things like that I just really appreciated. Also, there's just a nice little subtext of relationships and almost like from an outside perspective, why are they together? Because they don't seem right for each other, but then like it just was much more nuanced than I thought. It wasn't this flat portrait of domestic life where it's like the man is so terrible and the woman just puts up with it. It was a really nice give and take, and you saw like both of them, how they lashed out, how they vented. I really appreciated it. I thought it was really nuanced in a good way, and the performances really stuck out. Also, there's still some really strong visuals that I think about with won't spoil it, but something involving a horse that I don't know how they did it, and it was just amazing. And there's just some really nice details involving like smoking on screen and stuff that I just like really enjoyed watching. So stuck with me. I liked it when I first watched it. I just keep thinking about it and thought the performances were amazing. So The Nest, number 10.
Very cool.
Nice.
Awesome. Gotta check that one out. I heard something was out by that filmmaker.
Yeah.
Who made that movie? Martha, Marcy, May, Marlene. So yeah, I gotta check it out.
Yeah, it's good one. Good biz.
All right, my number 10 is it was a complicated choice for me, I gotta say, for this one, because it was, I don't even think it's necessarily like, and I guess I'll speak broadly to my entire list. I feel like my entire list, mostly composed this year, was a little different because I approached it more of my actual favorites as opposed to other years. I sort of ranked them in how good I thought they were.
Yeah, you know? Totally.
So I think like mastery and skill of a film is a different sort of classification than like your favorites.
Sure. Yeah.
So I kind of went with like a favorite, more of a favorite angle for this. And this movie really just stuck with me. There was something about it. I loved how weird it was. Tesla.
Oh yeah, nice. I still haven't watched that.
Yeah, Tesla. First of all, I'm a huge Tesla fan. I've read a biography on Nikola Tesla. I'm a big fan of him as a scientist and all the inventions he came up with. And so I kind of nerded out seeing a movie about Tesla come out. And it's so strange. Like, they do so many different techniques in it that I don't even think that it's like it definitely won't resonate with everyone. I think a lot of people might watch it and not like it at all. But I have to give props to the amount of bravery it had with its filmmaking style. There's a lot of scenes of I just forgot his name as I'm talking about him.
Ethan Hawke.
Ethan Hawke, yeah, who plays Tesla. They have him on a screen behind him, and there's like a lot of different scenes that it's clearly a projected scene behind him, very obviously. And he sort of interacts with it and like walks around, and they have these like little moments, and I don't know, that just was so cool how they did that. Such a simple thing, but I feel like it really resonated with the movie. And I just thought his performance was just so interesting, and the sort of unorthodox timeline of the movie as well was very strange. So. Awesome. Of all things, I think it was one of the most interesting movies I've seen, and I definitely recommend it for you guys especially. It won't be for everyone, but couldn't get this one off my mind. So
yeah,
cool, great choice.
Yeah,
I did see I haven't seen the movie, but I saw I think it might be the last scene where he does a little song. Not to spoil it.
Yeah. I won't say what it was.
Fuck is this movie that I was definitely? I think it's on Hulu. I definitely will watch it.
Okay.
It's on one of those streams. I don't know. There's like a million streams, but like I saw there was added to some service, and I was like, I will definitely watch this because that scene was like, whoa.
There's a really random moment of a pop song. I won't spoil it, but there's like a pop song that he sings, and it's so out of left field. But I don't know. I loved it.
Yeah.
I was like, this is so weird. I can't not like this movie. It's too weird. I love it. So, yeah, check it out. Tesla. Ethan Hawke, man.
Ethan Hawke's a champ.
Boy.
He's got a lot of good stuff.
Oh, and do you know who plays Edison?
Wasn't it Paul Rubens, Pee Wee Herman?
It's Kyle MacLachlan.
Oh, nice.
Hell yeah.
That's a good choice.
Plays Edison. Yeah, so they need
why doesn't
dynamic
Kyle
there.
Do more?
Yeah. Get him more shit, Kyle. Come on.
Right? So, anyway, that's my number 10.
Killer.
Tesla.
Cool.
Nice.
My number 10 is Possessor, the Brandon Cronenberg.
Nice, dude.
Definitely had like a few issues with this movie, but overall, just like really cool genre movie. And I think that's what I like most about it, is that it's just kind of like nice burner, like super entertaining genre movie, but there's also sort of all these like strange injections of style and all these like super heady concepts, and I really enjoyed it. And I think it's something that, I mean, just talking about things that stick with you, it stuck with me as well. Like, when I finished it the first time, I wasn't like 100% satisfied with the way it ended. I was like, I'd watch it again right now. You know what I mean? And I think it's only going to get better on the rewatch. And I got it on UHD, so I'm excited to do the rewatch.
Oh, well, 4K bump.
I'm a little jealous.
Yeah, it's a 4K. Maybe, and there's no 4K bump yet. So with the 4K bump, this thing's a 5 out of 5. You know what I mean?
I think you should just retroactively maybe make that number 8 on the list, like a preemptive.
Yeah, I might have to. But yeah, Possessor.
Nice, man. Possessor.
It's a good one. I enjoyed it.
It is a good one. All right. John, number 9, man.
Number 9 is this is a film that I had a little short thing I did this year, and it played some festivals, and like every festival that it played, this film was like the big film of that festival that anyone ever talked about. And so I got to watch it, like when I watched it a couple times, and each time I liked it more. It was a documentary. It's called Bloody Nose, Empty Pockets. And it's directed by the Ross brothers, who have done several really cool docs. They always have a great approach. Most recently, they did the Contemporary Color, which I think was on my top 10 3 years ago or whenever that was, which the David Byrne concert film that's all about color guard. But this one is not actually a doc. It just seems like it is. They basically cast a bunch of non-actors, former actors, and then had them drink in a bar for several days, and then they compiled it to make a story about I'm pretty far removed from it. I believe it's on the 4th of July. Is that what it is? The 4th of July?
I think it's on election night, I think.
Is it election night?
Yeah, because there's like stuff on the TV about like all the election and everything.
Maybe
I'll
something.
look
I just
into
remember
it.
there's a whole fireworks thing. But it's it's the closing night of this hypothetical bar, but it's all improvised. I really loved it. There's some great low-key, it's like the low-key great cinematography where it's almost like for lack of a better word, like beautiful in its like ugliness, in the sense of it's that those bar colors that everyone knows, those very ready like neon greens and that glow of neon from the open sign or the Budweiser thing, that it just really captures that culture of the day drinkers and the barflies and celebrates it in a way that never feels like it's looking down on them, in a way that I just really loved. It's something that I've always thought like there's an appeal to. I don't know about y'all, but I always thought like in a different life, if things went differently, I could become a regular at a weird bar and that's like my family like type thing. And especially this past year, I just have really missed bar culture in a way that like maybe I didn't miss before. And also just I have certain family members that have been barflies in the past, and it felt like I was hanging out with them, and some that have passed away, that it really felt true to the friend love that's between people because they drink together in a nice way. So yeah, Bloody Nose Empty Pockets, the Ross Brothers, super solid. It's streaming a lot of places. It's very watchable, and I'd recommend it.
Yeah,
Gotta check it out.
for sure.
Yeah, definitely one thing I've missed after all this shit from this year is just like going to a bar, man.
Absolutely.
I just miss going to a bar. It's like such a simple thing, you know, that we took for granted. It's just like hanging out, getting a drink. It's like, yeah.
I would pay $1,000 right now to just like hang out with with people in a bar and just play pool for like 8 hours.
I know.
I would pay $1,000. And honestly,
I would pay that.
It's
I'd
so
pay that.
stupid, but it's like that just sounds so good.
Yeah, it sounds very good.
Totally.
Yeah.
All right. My number 9 is Onward.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Disney Pixar movie about sort of fantasy world that's become like a modern American capitalist sort of regular time, and the magic that was once there has gone, and it's sort of about this quest of two brothers that go to try and restore their dead father and see him one last time. And I don't know, man. I had a lot of fun with this movie. It really resonated for me personally because I love fantasy. I love I play D&D very heavily. I'm a big fan of that. So there's like a lot of little Easter eggs in there, you know, that for people like me that I was just like, this movie was meant for me. So not much else other than that. Like I just really, really had a good time with the movie. A lot of fun, very memorable. I remember throughout the year I sort of just like was like, yeah, that movie that kind of always was there. I watched it another time later in the year and I was like, that solidified it for the list for me. I was just
awesome.
Yeah, this is just a solid watch and very rewatchable. So yeah, Onward.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
My number 9 is I'm Thinking of Ending Things, the Charlie Kaufman movie, which to me is just really unique, and like I don't know if everything about it is like totally successful, but I think about it a lot. And I do think it was an interesting way of like, I don't know, it's hard because it sells itself as one thing and becomes something different, and I think watching it again it would become something different even again, you know? And just the way it was constructed and the way it is tonally, I just had never really seen much like it, and it just hits a kind of like the strange existential dread scary vibe that I just find interesting. I thought it was really well written, and like the dialogue and the performances are great to sustain like these long dialogue scenes in a car and like make that interesting is just like an achievement in itself, and that's before anything happens. Like watching this movie being like, does this movie take place entirely in this car? And it's like, well, that's not bad. You know what I mean? Like, if that's the case, I'm not upset, you know, but like then it just gets into all this other stuff. And I don't know, a movie that I think about a lot and I also think would probably go up on a rewatch, maybe not, but I think it was just really bold and very interesting, and I think it gets major points for that for me.
Yeah, that would be a number 11 for me. That would be that was on my list up until a very short time ago.
Yeah.
Love the look of the movie too.
Yeah, it looks so good.
Love the look.
The movie does look amazing.
Yeah.
I think I was a lot not as much of a fan as you guys were. I think just because near the end, I don't want to bash your movie, but it fell apart a little bit for me near the end. I was loving it until probably halfway through, and then I feel like for me personally, I felt like it was trying to do too much or lost its focus a bit, and it didn't quite work for me on those levels. But I did think that the movie looked incredible, and I thought the car scenes were amazing.
Yeah.
So I thought there was like some very stark contrast for me of like really good stuff and then stuff I didn't like.
Yeah.
So it was complicated for me.
And it's definitely something that like, not saying it in like a weird way, it's just like not for everyone for sure.
Absolutely.
And it's like, because it's not enjoyable.
And it does not fucking
it's not an enjoyable movie.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and it doesn't care, and it's totally not constructed for anyone. You know what I mean? Like, it's not necessarily built to be like understood in the way that it's like trying to do, I guess, if that makes sense, maybe.
Yeah.
But like, there is a boldness to that I respond to, that I like totally understand if people don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's so much different than his other work.
Oh yeah.
It's like he was trying something new, so I do respect that too. So
for sure.
I wish I rewatched it, and that's the reason I didn't put it on the list, is because I feel like last night I was like, I should rewatch something. Yeah. And I didn't choose that one, and I feel like if I chose that one, it would have been on the list, just because I only saw it once, and it's come out now like 5 or 6 months ago. But
yeah, same. It was a while ago. But
it's also like 2.5 hours.
It's really long, and honestly, if it was shorter, I would have watched it again by now. But it's a long one. When you're investing that much time, it's like, well, there's other 2.5 hour movies that I've put off because they're this long. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cool.
But hey, if that thing's a tight 90, throw it on. I don't give a hoot.
All right, I think I'm up, right?
Down to 8.
Yeah, number 8.
Number 8 of the year. This one's from a filmmaker I love, one of my all-time faves, but this is the first time I think one of his movies has made my list on this podcast. I was like kind of reflecting on that, and I was like, that's crazy. But it's Steven Soderbergh's Let Them All Talk.
Nice.
And that's the HBO Max movie he made on a cruise ship. And I think that this movie, I love it conceptually. I love that it's mostly improvised. I think it's really organic. It feels very natural. It captures like the weirdness of being on a cruise and like the almost heightened importance of like weird activities. I don't know if y'all have ever been on a cruise, but there's just certain things where it's like it becomes like important, like who's sitting at your table. There's just certain things that are just kind of captures the essence of a cruise in a really nice way. And it's also, I think it has a very interesting subtitle that I just have heard no one talk about. It's called Let Them All Talk, a.k.a. The Fall of 2019.
Such a bold subtitle.
And it's such a bold subtitle, and it's crazy because it's like you're watching this movie that he made in 14 days, about a year, because he films it in one passage from New York to England on this boat, and it's captured in like during the passage. And it's like showing this breezy nature, but also like if anyone's read anything about a cruise in the last 12 months, it's probably been associated with like such a nightmare that like if you were to make a cruise movie in 2020 versus 20
big change,
especially like when coronavirus
it's...
first started and like there was that cruise where like everyone on the cruise got it, or like that cruise that was like stuck and wasn't allowed to port and people were like, you know, like shitting off the side of the boat. It's just like this thing where it's like
crazy.
Like cruises now, it's like I honestly, if you like, I am freelancing, and if someone was like, "Hey, I'll give you $5,000 to be on a cruise for the next 2 weeks," I'd be like, "No!" Like, so like to watch a Meryl Streep movie on a cruise ship, and you're like, "Well, that was just fucking delightful." Like, oh, like literally just like watching people dance and take swings, and I don't know, like it's written. Basically the setups are by this author Deborah Eisenberg, who does mostly short stories, and during COVID I read like several books of her short stories just coincidentally, and then I found out they were making this movie, so it's very serendipitous, and it really feels like one of her short stories. I think it's super underrated. It's kind of a tough sell. I don't really recommend it to anyone. I recommended it to one person, and he responded saying it was fucking terrible. So, I don't really know. I thought it was super breezy and watchable. I don't know. Like, it really feels like it's made 100 years ago in a weird way, but also like in a comforting way that's like, hey, you know what? Maybe people will be on cruises without me in 2 years. So, yeah. Let them all talk. Stevie Soderbergh. Good stuff.
Little Stevie.
Cool. Good old Stevie. Wait, so you're saying he hasn't been on your top 10? That's not true.
Well, no. Magic Mike was in my top 10 of the decade, but one of his movies, I don't think of the year Steven Soderbergh movies, because
really
for me, I always
find that strange.
Soderbergh is one of my all-time favorites, but
yeah, I know.
But like, I think a lot of his movies are like a bit of like growers. Like, I rewatch Steven Soderbergh movies more than almost any filmmaker because he makes just like super watchable movies. Like, there's a reason that people just like are like, I didn't do anything this weekend. I just watched all 3 Oceans movies, or you know, it's like it's just like Breezy Heist or like Logan Lucky, Magic Mike. They're kind of slight at first, but then they're almost like earworms. Like, you watch it again and you appreciate it. And so yeah, I think this is the first time in the year that it came out. The year of our Lord 2020, I put Soderbergh movie on the list.
Logan Lucky was definitely on my list when that came out.
Yeah?
It's a great one.
Yeah, I love that movie.
I've watched it several times since, and I've liked it each time more and more.
I have too.
Because like you realize like, oh, that shot's like, you rewatch like that shot was fucking insane. Like the yeah, such a champ.
Looks great on UHD too.
Oh yeah,
I got that.
It's one of my first ones.
Yeah, he doesn't have many 4K movies. That's a thing I learned because I got a 4K TV this year, and
nice.
I was looking into some Soderberghies, and very few movies on 4K.
Let's get that Oceans trilogy UHD. Those colors, they'd be pop.
They would pop.
Let's get Solaris on 4K. Like,
I mean,
I put on Solaris.
Let's dig deep.
My wife hadn't seen Solaris. I put on Solaris. We're watching it. Karen's like, "Oh, this is good." We're 10 minutes in. Suddenly, it dawns on me: this movie is cropped. They cropped it. It was cropped to 166 to 1. I thought that was like intentional. The movie's 235. They cropped it from anamorphic to Academy aspect ratio.
Who did this?
Stars. And you know what, Stars? You canceled.
Fuck you, Stars.
You canceled, Stars.
Fuck you. I canceled my subscription already.
Listen,
I actually did
rant about
Stars
movies
the other day.
All right. Moving on to my number 8. Tenet.
Oh,
nice.
Tenet.
Tenet.
This is a movie that it's the only one I saw in theaters after March.
Me too.
It was only one I ventured out to go see. Because you have to if you're going to see this movie. You got to see in theaters, right? And I think as the year went on, there were things that, like a lot of Christopher Nolan movies, they sort of like creep into your mind and you're like, oh, that doesn't really work. But I got to say, this movie was very entertaining for the time. When I saw this movie, I was taken back by the big sound, the big video blockbuster Christopher Nolan vibe, and for that I really had a good time with it. You know, the experience is a huge part for me.
Yeah.
So if I can sit down and watch this movie that's big, great action, mind-blowing concepts that I thought about for days afterward, so that's the reason why it's my number 8. I thought John David Washington was awesome.
Oh yeah.
Robert Pattinson was awesome. And it's not one of my favorite movies from Christopher Nolan, but it's definitely one that is very entertaining. So for that alone, that's why it's my number 8.
Get some cred.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. 10 out.
All right,
Did
Zach?
you get that UHD
10
yet?
I did, yeah.
How's that baby look?
Actually, I haven't watched it on yet.
Not even a
I
spot
haven't
check?
watched it yet.
Not even a spot check on that?
No.
Have y'all
No.
have y'all talked about on this podcast the 4K controversy?
What's that?
For Tenet?
Yeah, UHD versus digital 4K.
No, I don't know.
No, what's the controversy?
Well, so
Enlighten us.
as Zach knows, and this hasn't come up on this podcast, I have chosen to go all digital for 4K. I've decided no player because
Mr.
That's
Bitrate
gonna
over
hit
here
Zach
is
real
giving
hard.
it up. He upgraded
Zach
the
still
internet.
texts me
Zach
about
real
it,
hard.
and I tell Zach, please stop, please. I'm sleeping. It's 4 a.m. But basically, Tenet comes out on 4K digital, locked aspect ratio, comes out on UHD, switches to IMAX for the IMAX scenes.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's like, okay, give me the option. If I'm buying this thing digital, they include multiple versions for a lot of things. I bought Midsommar on digital, $5.99. Came with the director's cut. Fuck that $824 $45 4K.
Yeah. It's
But-
a little pricey.
But Tenet,
Yeah,
doesn't
I
even-
bought that digital too.
You can't buy the IMAX aspect ratioed Tenet.
Because
in
no one
4K.
cares about that, though.
But give it
A
as an
lot of
option.
people don't.
Give it as an option.
Huh?
They have some fucking
No,
bullshit music video to some stupid song in it, and it's like, okay, I don't give a shit about that. Give the IMAX, because most of the movie is IMAX.
Well, honestly, though,
Yeah.
it's like the people who, I mean, aside from you, obviously, that I
Yeah.
feel like would care about that would just get the UHD. And it's like Midsommar, they were like leveling the director's cut as like
Yeah.
because that was the only option for a while to buy it digitally. So
Yeah.
they were trying to get people to buy the digital, and that's also, I feel like the audience for that is inherently more like Tenet is a much wider spread where
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
90% of the people who buy digital will be like, why does this change? Stop changing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Why is it
Like,
changing?
Yeah.
Look,
It's getting wider
And then
and
if you
smaller.
give people
Why
the
is this
option, they're like, I don't know what option this is. I bought this and it changes. You know what I mean? Like,
happening? Yeah.
Just call it Tenet, the IMAX experience. Charge $3 more. I'm in.
and everyone would buy that one, though, and they'd be upset.
Okay, well, that's the problem. And look,
That is definitely the problem.
the truth is, and this is the honest truth, have I watched the Midsommar director's cut? Absolutely not. Will I rewatch Tenet? Most likely not for a while. But am I
Did you
complaining
buy
about
it,
it?
though?
Absolutely. No, I didn't buy it because of this thing, even though it would not affect how quickly I
I'm
rewatch.
telling you, just get the PS5. You're wanting to get one, get it and get the UHD, buddy. Just
There you
get
go,
the
bud.
UHD.
I
PS5.
can't justify a PS5 until there's a single game that just comes out for it. The fact that they're releasing all the games on the PS4, it's like you're burnt. You're burnt.
Well, yeah. I have the PS4, so it's like I'm not switching yet. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, make some new juicy.
Because
game
I love my PS4.
Yeah, my PS4 works great.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound super loud. I see a lot of people complain that their sound's loud. Mine's really far away. Sounds great. I'm okay.
It doesn't play UHDs, though.
It doesn't play UHDs, but honestly,
I know,
I'm
it's
out
so
of shelf space.
stupid.
I've maxed out shelf space, and now I'm putting movies underneath the TV. What am I doing? What are we doing here?
Yeah.
There's so many good.
I-
The 4K world is blossoming right now. Just blossoming.
It's true. It is. It's starting
It is
to
true.
emerge. It's emerging.
I'm getting some bangers on 4K. Never.
I will
expected.
say I have definitely backed off purchasing physical copies.
Yeah.
I feel like like Sean, you've chosen not to, Zach, you are hardcore.
I can't turn
disc.
back.
It's
I
a
can't.
real rift
Somewhere
in
in
our
between.
friendship.
I'm somewhere in between. Yeah. I buy ones that I really want to have.
Well,
other
Wes,
than that.
what are you building your catalog on? Because right now, this is honestly, we're live streaming this, and a lot of fans are texting me saying, "Don't get back to
There's
the
a
only
chat
reason
going.
people are listening." What are you building your catalog on? What thing? Is it on every platform? Are you doing Amazon? Are you doing Apple, Google?
Oh, I see. For digital.
Yeah.
See, I don't. Well, here's the thing. A lot of my digital stuff is funneled through, what is it called? It's All Movies Access or whatever it is. It's the one that connects all the
Movies
all the
Anywhere
shit.
or whatever.
Yeah, Movies Anywhere. So that's what because I do have movies spread out digitally all over. But if you register for Movies Anywhere, and you connect all your accounts, they're all in one location.
Yeah.
Mine
which
are all
also
in one
shows up.
location too. I'm just
which also shows up on Apple TV. So if you have Apple TV, that's
nice.
it syncs with it. So you have all your stuff.
That's pretty
So,
cool.
Wes, here's a pro tip for you. There's this app. It's
Yeah.
called Cheap Charts. Cheap Charts,
Okay.
it's for Apple. But it basically lets you know every single day, most of them drop on Tuesdays, what has come out on different resolutions for cheap. And then it'll say, like, is this the lowest price it's been? It'll give, like, alerts if something's, like, a okay deal, good deal. I'm getting $4.99 4Ks on the rig.
See, I can't do this though.
That's
because
pretty
I
good.
can order one 4K that's coming out and look forward to it. But if I could do that every day, and every day is exclusivity factor,
See,
you're
well, Zach
missing out
doesn't
if you don't do it now.
It's
I'm gonna
called
go nuts
self-control.
and own way too much.
Zach doesn't have an off button. Yeah. he
Yeah,
would just
I
be
can't
buying-
do it.
But
I
the
would
thing
just
is,
buy shit
if you
constantly.
so I limit it to I'll only buy a movie at most $7.99, and it has to be 4K. So I'm only building up a 4K catalog. But the nice
Well, that's
thing
good.
is,
Yeah.
every time they remaster a movie and release it on 4K, they suddenly drop. I've learned this. They suddenly drop the iTunes version to super cheap. But that includes they then any movie that is 1080, they swap it out with the new 4K version. So you're getting 4K remasters of Lawrence of Arabia, Apocalypse Now, The Final Cut, $4.99. Beautiful, looks great.
Oof.
Nashville, 4K.
$13, 4K UHD box
Okay,
set.
is
Oh my
Nashville even
goodness.
out on 4K?
Which one?
Nashville?
No, it's not.
Well, it's on Cheap Charts for $4.99. But I'm sitting here. I can watch Nashville whenever I want. Will I watch it? No. But can I? You bet your ass.
All right. Here's
I'll watch
what-
my
okay.
Criterion
Now we're
Blu-ray.
blossoming out to another
Yeah,
completely
it's
different
fine.
thing.
Let it ride.
But here's the thing. For one, might not matter to a lot of people, but that little 4K UHD does have that higher bit rate. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sure it looks
Does
great.
have that. It looks fantastic. So that's why I sort of I'm still buying physicals for movies that like I really want to like hold on to.
Yeah.
Also, there's like a big problem that has happened here and there, like iTunes, for instance. They'll choose to just drop a movie from their library
Ooh.
and be like, well, we don't have the space for that. Even though you bought it, we don't have it. We don't have it stored anywhere.
That
So
would
then
be
it's like,
devastating. That would be
now you
devastating.
don't have that.
Yeah.
You've bought that, you've purchased it, but they have the rights to just like
That's like someone sneaking in my house and just taking one and leaving. It would drive. I could.
so that's
Zach
the
still
sort
talks
of
about his Matrix
the
box
gamble.
set was stolen.
I do. Someone stole my Matrix box set.
for real.
Yeah, my Matrix Blu-ray.
Well, lucky
And
for
I-
you, Zach, they're all on HBO Max, so you're good
Well,
to go.
they're all. I also have
Yeah.
the UHD
So
set.
That's another thing. That's another thing too, though, is like a lot of the movies too are just like on streaming services too. So I haven't even been. I don't even need to buy anything anymore because
Yeah.
it's on Disney Plus or it's on
Yeah.
Amazon, and Amazon streams UHD, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And so you have that.
I've definitely yeah, because for me, if I'm streaming something, I don't need to buy it. Like I'll rent it if it's like new, but
Yeah.
if I'm streaming it, I'm streaming it. So I'm like at the will of the streamers. But I will say I have cut down significantly on the blind buy movies. I've been putting all my efforts into the UHD game, not doing as many blind buys anymore, you know. Used to be a big like, ooh, whatever's coming out, give me it. But
Oh yeah, I used to do that too.
can't do that anymore. But
Yeah,
like,
it's tough.
I just get a couple, like Le Cercle Rouge came out on UHD. Got that? It's like, ooh, that's beautiful. You know, The Beastmaster, Flash Gordon.
Did you watch it?
I started it, but I fell asleep. So I haven't watched Le Cercle Rouge.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an ill-advised like 10 p.m. start, where I was like, "Fuck it, I'll put this on."
That's a mistake.
Like,
I
Yeah,
fall
big
asleep.
Yeah, that's it. You're not gonna. Yeah.
that's a prime like get up and watch movie. You know, it's a long one.
And speaking of falling asleep during a movie, I think I'm up for my number 7.
Or no, I haven't done
actually,
my
we
number
didn't-
8 yet.
We didn't.
Oh,
We didn't do Zach's
didn't
number 8.
go.
So let's get back to the count.
Yeah, my number 8 is Kirsten Johnson's Dick Johnson is Dead, which I watched yesterday. And I really liked, and it was one that I was like, I'm really gonna like this movie, gonna watch it, but also this is gonna be real sad, and I don't know when I'm gonna watch it, you know. And I mean, it was really sad, but it was just great, and while it was sad, I had a big ass smile on my face the whole time. And I guess for those who don't know, it's like this filmmaker, she's like a documentary filmmaker, and she finds out her father is dying. So it's a documentary of them kind of like working together to make this movie to kind of like process his death. And in the movie, it's like these scenarios of him dying in these kind of like silly ways, or ways that differ from how he actually will, but just kind of sort of like processing death and going about that. And there's all these sort of like weird recreations of like heaven and all these cool like dance scenes and stuff that's shot on sound stages. And at first, and I will say, I thought there was going to be a little bit more of the sort of like recreations. Like they set a lot of them up, and you see the behind the scenes of them doing it, but you don't necessarily always see the kind of like bit that they create. Which at first I was like, where are these bits? Like, throw them at me. But as it went on, I kind of just got more invested in the rest of the story. And yeah, I just thought it was a very, very well done documentary. Super watchable, and somehow fun, even though it was really sad.
Kind of sad.
So, yeah. So yeah,
Nice, good pick, man.
I really liked it a lot. I thought it was great.
Good stuff.
All right, we're moving on to number 7, Sean.
Zach's number 8 reminds me a lot of actually my number 7.
Oh yeah.
Mine's a Netflix movie. It's a documentary directed by Kristen Johnson. It's Dick Johnson is Dead. And I enjoyed this one a lot more than I thought. It's one of those where you kind of are tearing up and laughing simultaneously, and you know, it's like that's kind of how I think in a lot of ways most people want to go out, you know. So I felt like it was a really lovely tribute to a parent, where
Definitely.
if I was going out and my child was spending time with me, I think I'd want it to be a mixture of like laughing and tears, and it just felt like I don't know, like hearing about it sounds like a bit of it sounds rude to say, but like a bit of a vanity project of being like, my dad's dying and I'm gonna make a movie about it. And it's like, ooh, that sounds like it could just be someone living in a really sad time.
Yeah.
But it was like really cool, really funny. All the shit that dad does makes you realize just like, even just the fact that he's doing it makes you appreciate like how good of a father he is. That he's like,
absolutely.
He's like, I'm going to spend my last days doing literally whatever the fuck my daughter wants. And like, he clearly thinks it's weird, but he's like into it. And I love that. Like that he's like, yeah, no, it's weird. Like he's just like,
he's such a sweetheart the whole time.
Such a sweetheart.
You just love him so much.
And like, I don't know, there's just so many things in there where it's like, just really lovely, and to be able to do the send off, and I feel like they course corrected, and you could tell they did throughout the movie, but it stuck the landing in such a way that it really
definitely
made it like happy to just be a part of it. Like I thought the ending was so strong that I agree that they pivoted clearly a couple times, but it didn't really bother me. It just kind of like I thought it was really strong. And I saw Camera Person. I don't know if y'all seen that. And that one people really loved, but I was kind of cold on it. And this one really spoke to me. So yeah, I'd recommend it. It's on Netflix. Check it out.
Nice. Good pick for number 7 because pretty weird. It's also my number 7.
Oh shit.
Yeah. I watched this movie today because I saw that you guys at Letterboxd were marking stuff and had some time today, so I was like, it's Netflix. Pretty easy watch.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Seems
like
interesting.
80 some
Check
minutes. Killer runtime.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great.
Right.
I really liked it. I like the camera person too, but this is definitely for a broader audience, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
And just I don't know, just like a really nice like love letter to her father, you know.
Yeah.
An interesting concept to have, like, oh, this is sort of my way of dealing with your eventual death, you know? Something that's going to happen. There's nothing we can do about it. Let's sort of have some fun with it. And also I can get some, like, an actual immortal memory of you.
Yeah.
You know, here's this memory that I can, like, watch anytime. I can watch it on Netflix. And there it is. And that's my father. So he seemed like such a nice, loving person.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it was a very interesting concept for documentary, and I thought it was like, yeah, both very entertaining and funny, but also kind of sad, but that's sort of like what life is, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I really dug it. It's really good. Everyone should watch it.
Yeah, it's really great. Big fan.
Dick Johnson is dead.
Fuck yeah.
Good stuff.
All right. My number 7 is Steve McQueen's Lover's Rock, which is the second of the Small Axe movies, which I shamingly have not watched all of. But, yeah, I thought it was really great. It seems like just something really special, you know, and it has, like, such an energy to it that I feel like a lot of other things I've seen recently just, like, don't have. It's just really well done. All the performances are great. It's like fun. It has a lot to say. The visibility factor is great. And just kind of like charting a day and like a time, I think it's interesting, and also doing it in this like, because it kind of is a concept that's been done before, the like day party movie, but it just feels so fresh and different in like every way from that. And kind of like not something that you think would exist, if that makes sense. Like I think, and I don't know if it could have, not in the context of this whole series. Like I said, I haven't watched all of them, but it does seem like after watching Mangrove, it's just like such a shift in like, I don't know, it was just unexpected in a way. And I mean, I expected it because I heard so much great stuff about it and kind of know what I was getting into going in. But when a movie is hyped so much and it still like delivers on that and makes you think about it after, even though for the most part it's kind of just like fun and enjoyable. Like there's obvious, you know, things in there. It's not like hunky-dory the whole time, but I don't know. It just really captured that energy of being like at a party and through the night and like all the highs and lows of it. And yeah, I just thought it was really good, really fun, great performances, and yeah, some really, and just some like some really good moments. I feel like there's, I mean, some obvious ones, but that just like hit, and yeah, it's just great.
Yeah.
And also like a fucking 70-minute runtime.
Oh yeah, it's sweet runtime.
Yeah. What were you saying though, Sean? Sorry.
I was just saying the part where the feeling of like a song coming on that's like your jam is like surprisingly not super covered in movies.
Yeah.
But whenever it's in a movie, it's always a standout scene of just like seeing someone like go crank it up to like 11. And there's like a scene where they keep singing a song after it's over. And
yeah,
like
it's great.
especially now with like having none of us have, I mean, I don't know, maybe some of us have been to parties.
No.
But like seeing like 100 people packed into a house and like sharing food and just like that experience is like so good.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's sort of, and especially during, after 2020, it's just it almost makes you have a longing for something like that.
Absolutely.
Even more. It's something before 2020 that was like, all right, whatever, party, whatever. But it's like, oh man, like human connection, like just being in a room together, like experiencing a moment and time together was like, that's what resonated for me about that movie. And that's, so.
I haven't told Zach.
Pretty crazy.
But my first thought when I finished Lovers Rock was, fuck, I wish Zach didn't move out of his house, because Zach used to have these house parties, and like, or his roommates would, but like they'd have several a year, and like, you get trapped in your own shit, and you're like, maybe one of the days it's like kind of cold, and you're like, oh, I don't know, or like there's always, it's like this thing where it's like, it's like, but then like I was like, fuck, like it's like none of our friends anymore have a house, so like that age of the house party is like dead.
It's gone.
And it's sad. And they would always talk about having this one last party, and then obviously COVID happened. So it's just
we
like,
could never throw the
I was literally
the goodbye rager.
Thinking of like Zach's friend, or my friend too, that's funny, John, like putting on music, and like like he would always put on music and crank it up, and like everyone, like become a dance party the other night, and just the thought of like that never happening again is like so fucking bad.
Yeah, seriously.
Number 6, Sean.
Number 6 for me, I have to decide what it is. We'll go with Never, Rarely, Sometimes, Always. This is just a little casual abortion jaunt of two underage girls that want to get an abortion from somewhere in Pennsylvania, and they need to go to New York, and it's a bit of a road trip movie of I don't know if y'all have seen it, but it's basically like
I watched it.
I've heard of it.
It's a combo of like docu-style kind of realism, like almost like neo-realism, but then also there's some like heightened things of like it starts with like a really promising teen talent show, and like I was like, ooh, this is gonna be a heavy one, but then it starts this talent show, and I was like, oh fuck, I'm here for this. And I found it to be really funny, and also kind of like a Italian neorealism hybrid, which I really responded to. As someone that's not had much experience or in that area, I found it to be a very knowledgeable and sympathetic portrait of like what some people have to go through in our country, and I really responded to it, and I thought that it's really easy with that stuff, like what's that Hungarian movie, 4 months 3 weeks 2 days, whatever that's called, where like I kind of thought that movie was gross and like super melodramatic, and this movie felt like it was made by people that actually like listened to people talk about what they went through and didn't just like amp it up to some almost like Requiem for, like it felt like how like in Requiem for a Dream, it's like, did that guy ever do that drug, or was he just like describing it? So like I felt like this felt really real, honest. It was funnier than it needed to be. I really appreciated some of the late night stuff in it. There was like a part where they're like singing karaoke and just like kind of passing time that I really enjoyed. And I thought the acting was really good. It's on HBO Max. And yeah, I'd say it's a heavy watch, but it's also got a lot of lightness where it never, for me, crossed over into that area of like too self-serious. But it never also took it lightly. So I was really impressed with the tone. Yeah.
It's a great movie.
That's good to know. It's on HBO Max, because I've been wanting to see it. I just never got around to it. So,
yeah, it was $20 for a long time, and I was like, when this thing dips below $20, I'm renting it. And then it just came on HBO, so it was like, oh shit, nice.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
Little sidetrack. but speaking of HBO Max, what do you guys think about the whole 2021? Every Fox movie, or what is it? Like every
Warner Brothers.
every 20th Century Fox movie, right?
Warner Brothers.
Will also Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
Every Warner Brothers movie will also be on HBO Max the same day as release in theaters. Crazy.
Give it to me.
Obviously, I'm gonna watch it on HBO Max.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the truth is, like, for me, you know, like, I'm not really going to theaters, and like, I don't want stuff to keep getting delayed. Obviously, I'd rather be at a theater.
Just give us the shit.
But like, I live in Chicago. Going to a theater is like not a fucking good idea. So like,
yeah,
and I'm not gonna go to a theater to see fucking The Little Things or even Judas and the Black Messiah. So like, which I really want to watch, and it comes out I think in like 4 days, and like I'll definitely probably watch that, and it gives me and my wife something to do on a Friday night. Like, I'm pumped. Do I want this forever? No. Do I think it might be destroying movies? Yeah, but also like the coronavirus is destroying, you know, like it's not Warner Brothers' fault.
Yeah, it's like
for sure.
It's not like they like started all these and were like, let's do these in this COVID environment and we'll release them later and figure it out. Like, because these are already things that were like all already in motion. It's like, what are you gonna do? Just like shelve this for 2 years? Just like fucking drop it. You know
I'm not gonna go to the theater every week as soon as I get my vaccine. I'm just not like.
Yeah.
You know, like that. Like
not at all.
Like A24 barely releases any movies, and it's like they have so many fucking movies to release. What are they gonna do with them all? I just don't even.
Give me the Green Knight now.
Yeah, the Green Knight looks like the only David Lowery movie I have any time for. That trailer was fucking amazing, but like not a David Lowery guy.
So bad.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that movie.
That movie looks so good. The design and the puppet shot. Oh my god! Like that movie was supposed to come out. It was supposed to premiere at South by like a year ago. Like fuck.
Yeah, over a year or more. Yeah, it's just that one's literally just sitting on a shelf. Dune sitting on a fucking shelf. Come on.
Dune, and the worst part is some of these movies. Let's be real here. They're fucking dogs. So then you're waiting 2 years for a dog. Because, like, I don't know if Dune's I think Dune is either going to be really fucking good or unwatchable. But, like...
It's one of the two.
Having to
I don't
wait
know if it's going to be okay.
Having to wait another year for Dune is, like... It's just, like...
This thing better be fucking good.
It's just not setting up for success. Like, Blade Runner 2049, if I had to wait another year for that, I probably would have fucking hated it. But, like, you know, it's just... They're hyping... Like the Sopranos movie that was supposed to come out last fall, and then it got delayed to March, and then
and now it got pushed again, right?
I look on that shit yesterday because I'm like, is that thing coming out next month? I get pumped, right? That thing is coming out this September now, and the problem is,
it's fucked.
Oh my god!
And I'm fucking pumped for that movie because I love Sopranos, but the problem is it's directed by the guy that's done like the worst fucking piece of shit. He did the second Thor movie, which no one likes.
And no one likes that. Everyone thinks that's the worst one.
He did the worst Terminator movie, Terminator Genesis.
Wait, it's not David...
No, he wrote it.
I thought he was directing it, too.
No, it's Alan Taylor, who directed... So, in the defense of the movie, Alan Taylor directed a lot of Sopranos.
Yeah,
but
so
then,
it's like he's...
And then he went on to subsequently direct a lot of Game of Thrones, which I've never really watched. But then he went on to direct... dog shit movies, so it's like I don't really know what to feel. But like waiting another year for that thing, like
that's tough. I found that out a couple days ago too, and I was like, I thought that was like a month away.
It was supposed to come out in March.
That's brutal.
And like I don't really give a fuck about a 5-hour cut of the Justice League,
especially if it's in 4:3 in black and white.
It's insane.
Like,
they're cropping
the movie
film
school shit.
From 2:35.
No, they're not. I didn't hear that part.
Oh, you didn't hear this?
Oh yeah.
Shut up.
Trailer,
no, they're not.
The trailer is black and white, and it's an Academy ratio. It's like he saw The Lighthouse and was like, "This is a good idea."
Yeah, seriously. He like got high and watched The Lighthouse and was like, "I'm gonna do that with Justice League, dude."
But
this was vision the whole time. I would have done this if Warner Brothers let me initially.
Framing things. Like, I wonder if his cinematographer is just committing harakiri, just like.
They're really making the Justice League director's cut, the Snyder cut, 4:3.
I don't know if they are for sure, but the last trailer was
black
in black
and
white.
The
trailer was. And then he said he wanted it to be in that.
Yeah,
I don't
he
know
said
if
he was
that
going
happened.
to.
I don't- yeah, I don't-
Honestly, even if they make a cut, though, it's still fucking dumb. I don't care if it's an alternate black and white version. It's still fucking stupid. And I'm not buying it.
It's just a longer piece of shit, right?
Yeah.
It's just
Well, yeah,
not
'cause when
gonna
they
be that
when he shot the project, it was in 235. I literally
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
complained about that with Solaris.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, totally. Oh
Brutal.
my god, dude.
So brutal.
That movie's gonna be
Anyway.
so bad that, I mean, all kidding aside, I'll probably most likely watch it, cause like I just. You ever
I'm gonna watch
It's
it.
just like, who's it for,
But-
though? Like, no, like, the people
There is an
that
audience
want,
though.
Oh,
that
definitely.
There's
want
like
it
this
in
weird group
4x3 that think that's cool.
No, I don't know about the 4x3, but there's a group of like DC fans.
Oh,
who
that
just,
want
like,
the
are like,
cut.
who are like Snyder, his cut would have been way better. Blah blah.
No,
And
for
why
sure.
does everyone hate DC and not Marvel? And so there's that group that
Insane.
are.
I just don't think that group wants black and white 166-1 movies.
4x3.
That's what I mean.
fucking
There's a
Leonard
disconnect
Cohen.
there. That like, who is that version for? I don't know who. Like Zack Snyder's dick.
Oof.
Like, so he can just be like, oh, you know, like, what is that for?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
It's terrible.
That's bizarre. That's very bizarre. Anyway. All right. My number 6.
Yeah. Well, I was like, what are we on? Where are we?
My number 6 is Da 5 Bloods.
Nice.
Great movie. Great Spike Lee film. It was actually higher up on my list for a long time. So maybe, honestly, probably if I'd seen it more recently, might have been higher. But this is where we start getting into weird territory. But yeah, Da 5 Bloods. I really liked this movie. If anyone doesn't know, it's about these sort of older African American vets who go back and sort of revisit Vietnam when they served in the War of Vietnam, and sort of reconcile with the memories of that and try to honor their fallen friend. So I didn't skip you, Sean.
I never said number 6.
Rarely your number 6 is rarely, never, sometimes, always.
Oh Jesus. I had the wrong order.
Sean, you gotta at least get your list when you're sorting it down, buddy.
Yeah, you went, and then we went on a tangent.
I totally forgot that I changed my order.
You gotta keep it straight,
All
bud.
good. All good.
I'm honestly not sweating. So you were saying about Da 5 Bloods.
Yeah, the 5 Bloods. They go back to visit their old friend, or where he had fallen before, and that person happened to be Chadwick Boseman, which passed away this past year, sadly. But I thought he was great in it. I thought all the people were great in it, and I thought it was a really interesting concept to have these older men play themselves, their younger selves too.
Yeah, totally.
Which on paper might be a weird concept, but I feel like it worked. It totally worked.
Total banger.
And I also think it was more accessible. One of Spike Lee's more accessible films as of late. I feel like anyone can watch it. And just Vietnam movies too. I enjoy those that subject. So of the time as well, the music, everything. So it's a great movie. Great movie. Da 5 Bloods.
Hell yeah.
Check it out. It's on Netflix. Yeah.
Woo.
It's my number 6.
All right. My number 6 is Sound of Metal, which I watched, I think, last week. Which I guess, like, I was expecting it to be good, but it was way better than I was expecting it to be. And I think that it kind of just had all the look and markings of, like, the classic indie movie that would come out every year that is good, but, like, is, like, classically that style. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense, but...
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think performance-wise, it's some of the best of the year. Like, Riz Ahmed's so good in it. And
He's so good.
also the guy who runs the house that he stays at was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Paul something. Yeah. Super.
Yeah, I couldn't remember.
Super.
I looked him up, and it seemed like he was in a lot of older stuff, but not a ton recently.
He didn't seem like I honestly don't know his history, but he seemed like more of like a real person than like a.
Yeah,
I thought he was a non-actor, and I was
Absolutely.
blown away that he's just like casted. I don't know.
fucking banger.
Yeah, really good. The characters felt very real. The way that they like deal everything and like with their reactions to things, I thought felt really honest and different than the way I would assume a lot of movies would kind of like position themselves. And it looked really good, and the sound design was great. And that's another thing that I was like, well, of course this movie's gonna have great sound design. It's all about sound and hearing and being deaf and all this stuff. But I do think the way that it was directed and constructed and edited, there's a lot of nuance that, because it kind of at first seems like it's just kind of like a handheld sort of like whatever, style, looks fine. But there's a lot of things in like the blocking and the camera direction, especially in the scenes with that guy that we were talking about when he's on the computer and like it's translating, and the way that they're cutting between the close-ups and the eye lines changing, and how people's eye lines are changing to look at different things because of the hearing, and just the way that the editing and the sound design kind of like mix the perceptions was just really, really interesting. And especially a lot of the sound design stuff towards the end was like really bold, I thought.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I don't know.
There's a certain
Very much
moment
so.
that something changes, and it's almost like, how are people hearing this? Like for some, but it's like, it's a really cool movie, and not at all what I thought it would be.
Totally.
Yeah.
Very surprising.
Agreed.
Yeah.
This is a great one. My number 6.
Hell yeah.
Good pick. All right.
Is there like a break?
Oh, yeah. So before we get into our final 5 of the 2020 countdown, Ronnie just wanted to interject, say a little something, so I'm just going to pass it over to him.
I'd like to interject to discuss that special deal from our sponsor again. For the listeners of the Listen to Us Rant About Movies podcast, Audible is offering a free audio book download with a free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. To download your free audio book today, go to audibletrial.com/LTURAM. Again, that's audibletrial.com/LTURAM for your free audio book.
Thanks, Ronnie.
Thanks, Ronnie.
I just can't
All right.
believe that Ronnie just said that.
No, right? It really sticks with you.
Honestly,
He's just such
like
a character. He'll say
Ronnie
whatever,
didn't say anything for like a fucking hour, and then he just chimes in with that shit. He's like, all Ronnie cares about is money.
Sean, Ronnie's
just let
just
him
doing
deal
his
with that,
job, okay? He's not a big
Fuck
film
yeah, he's
guy.
doing his job.
Hey, Ronnie, how about you watch some movies and you don't just shill ads, bro?
Sean, I know you're a little sore, but don't take it out on Ronnie. He's
A little
just doing his
salty.
thing.
It's okay. Ronnie's a good guy.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, well, why don't you go with your number 5 there, Sean?
Okay, well, now that I remember what my order is and don't feel like I was skipped, my number 5 is, conveniently enough, Da 5 Bloods. So,
Nice.
not much to add. I think Wes summed it up pretty well. I think that love Spike Lee. Love his joints. Did a retrospective of his career during quarantine with my wife,
Nice.
and it was
That's cool.
very worthwhile. And Da 5 Bloods, I think, is a great addition to his catalog. Great war film. Love the reusing of characters for flashbacks. Don't get why that's not a thing all the time. Just feel like that's just a
it's
cherry.
so good.
Yeah, I think it's really strong, and I rewatched it last night, and it moves
Nice.
really quick. Love the changing of aspect ratios. Obviously, aspect ratio is a big sticking point in today's episode. Yeah,
Running
I would
theme.
just say like I feel like Jonathan Majors is a superstar, and Delroy Lindo, like, didn't realize how much I missed him in movies until I watched him in this, and then, like, even just like being like, ooh, I gotta check him out in Domino again. Like, I just like literally just like missed Delroy Lindo, like, just. Yeah, fucking champ. I don't watch The Good Wife on CBS All Access, so I haven't seen him in a while, and it was great to see him. I thought, yeah, his monologue towards the camera, super big highlight. Yeah, The Five Bloods. Also, I did watch Spike Lee's David Byrne concert doc, American Utopia, and I was like, ooh, which Spike is going to be the better Spike? And I'll just, without going too deep into it, I would say that The Five Bloods. If you're going to watch one 2020 Spike Lee film, watch The Five Bloods. Yeah.
Watch The Five Bloods.
Yeah. That's it.
Hell yeah, man.
The Five Bloods. Killer. Netflix. Make more movies like that.
Yes. All right. My number 5 is Soul.
Oh.
Nice.
Pixar.
Yeah.
Pixar year.
Yeah. Pixar year. I don't think I've ever had a Pixar movie on my top 10, and now this year I have 2.
Oh yeah.
This movie was just, I loved this movie so much when I watched it. Just about a jazz musician in New York just trying to make it. And what I really enjoyed about this film too, as I thought about it, was it's not even really a kid's movie. Mm-hmm. And I sort of talked about it on one of our podcasts, is because I feel like there's a theme to it that kids wouldn't really understand. It's it's about a guy who's just past middle age. He's kind of past his prime, so to speak, and still trying to fight for these dreams that he has of playing jazz in New York City. He's getting older, and he's sort of reconciling with that. Like, he's just sort of never really made it. And I feel like that's a concept that kids can't grasp. They're not old enough to sort of understand that. And that's what the movie's about. So I feel like, obviously kids can watch it, but I feel like it's really a Pixar movie for adults. Mm-hmm. And taking that concept and understanding, like, okay, you're not exactly, maybe you haven't completely fulfilled the dreams that you always wish to have, but there's still a lot of joy to be had in doing the things that you just love. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was, I thought, so expertly, like, created and sort of expertly sort of shown in a film concept. I loved it. And it makes you, in the end, you watch it and you're just like, man, you know what? And especially after, like, 2020 too, it's just like, what a shit year. What a fucking terrible mess we're in. Country's in the fucking shitter. There's so much bad things going on in the world right now, but you're like, you know what? You have these little passions that you have, and sometimes life is still good. There's still things that are still good about life. Oh, yeah. So I don't know. I made me really happy afterwards. I felt good. So I definitely recommend checking it out. It's a great movie. It's a great Pixar movie.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
Soul.
Just to chime in real quick, banger score by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross.
Oh, they scored Soul?
They scored, like, part of the movie, which you'll know
pieces of it
when you watch it, but some fucking killer tunes that really kind of amp up some of the animation, I thought.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, man. I actually forgot that till you said that.
Yeah.
Because I saw it in the titles after the movie, and I saw it in titles. I was like,
there's a sequence where, like, someone's looking for a file, and it's, like, scored by their thing, and it's really fucking cool. It's like, it definitely kicks.
Nice.
Like,
it's a great score.
Banger scene for sure.
It's a great score.
Mm-hmm.
And jazz music too.
Yeah.
Love it, man.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, check it out. Soul.
Cool.
It's on Disney Plus.
Disney Plus.
Hell yeah.
4K. Check it out.
Yeah.
Well, my number 5, Sean talked about, but it's Bloody Nose, Empty Pockets.
Oh.
Which I watched like a week and a half or so ago, 2 weeks ago. But yeah, really great movie. Loved it. Love that kind of like weird mix line between documentary fiction and just kind of like creating that environment to kind of let people just like be themselves in a really interesting way. And I think there's like certain things in it that do feel constructed, but for the most part it definitely achieves that sort of like loose feeling of that they're kind of just like fly on the wall observing things, while also just like looking so fucking good. I really, really liked the look of the movie a lot. Yeah, I just thought it was really interesting and endearing, and like you were saying, Sean, I like that there's a movie about these people that's not like celebrating it, saying they're the best, but also not condemning them either. It's just like treating them with respect and being like, these are people, and like, yeah, it's just really interesting, really funny, and yeah, I don't know. I think I always appreciate that sort of like weird playing with that sort of weird line, and I thought this movie did it really well.
Awesome, love it.
It's a banger.
Nice. I gotta check it out.
Yeah, it's
great. Is it streaming anywhere?
I don't know.
I think it's like, I rented it. It was like $3 or $4, I think, to rent. So
Prime somewhere, probably.
Yeah, it was on Prime.
Nice.
Or no, I think I did a free trial. You could rent it, but there was like a free trial of something I hadn't heard of, so I did that.
Something I haven't heard of.
All right.
Check it out.
Somewhere on the internet.
Great movie.
All right, man. We're number 4. We're getting down to it.
We're in the final 4, as people say.
Big decisions.
Yeah.
And
big decisions here.
You know what? I'm just gonna pick. Let me think.
Are you just picking from the pool, or do you have like?
Come on here.
Or do you have like 2 that are battling it for 4? Or are you just picking one that's left?
Do you at least have your one? Do you have your number 1?
Here's what I'll say: is honestly, I had 2 movies at 5 stars, and everything else was battling for 3rd through like 15th. That's how my year was.
Similar.
It was pretty like,
I get that,
4.5 to 4s everything, and then I saw 2 5-star movies. That's how I felt.
Same here.
And I'll be honest, even the 5-star movies were light 5s. They could grow in estimation, but I don't think. Look, I know you both have been saying that this was the best year for movies, but my number 4 of 2020 is gonna be Possessor.
Oh, shit.
I do not like genre fest horror films. Every time I watch one of these fucking overhyped genre fest horror films, I get so pissed because most of the time I pay a premium because I always want to fucking love them. Mm-hmm. And then it's just like, yeah,
I get you.
Great concept, potentially cool trailer, but so much fucking hype, it's oozing out of its ears. And then I watch it and then I'm like, yeah, like I can't think of any of these movies where I'm like, I will rewatch that movie. Like,
yeah,
right.
I just watched.
It's all things that people just watch cold and go, "That was interesting."
Yeah, but like
with all this hype, it's nothing, you know.
Possessor was way lower on my list, and then I just watched this movie that people were buzzing about called Psycho Goreman.
Oh yeah, I haven't watched that.
It's such shit, and I'm just so sick of this low bar, where it's like, I'm sorry if we're just playing on nostalgia, and I get that David Cronenberg movies are definitely nostalgia. But the thing that Possessor carries that isn't just a David Cronenberg ripoff by his son, Brandon Cronenberg, is it's crazy watchable, I thought. I was like, this is just definitely like a super fucking solid thriller. And like, if this starred Denzel Washington, it would be like just as good. Because like, this is like a really tight... Like, this reminds me of a Tony Scott film and a David Cronenberg film. Like, it's very tight. Yeah. It's a good thriller. There's a really well-established ticking clock, and I think that these movies are really rare. I think that movies that have, like, interesting visuals and are a thriller are just, like, they don't happen. So, like, I really responded to it for those 2 things where I was like, you know what? I watch a lot of horror movies that are like, ooh, they could have cut 20 minutes, or, like, they needed to lose this entire character thing, or, like, this thing wasn't interesting, or, like, you know, it's just, like, there's certain filmmakers that I know people really love that I don't really care about shitting on. But, like, just certain people that just make stuff, and it's like I feel like they're always making 3-star movies, and but yet they're like the kings of like genre film festivals. Yeah. And I felt like Brandon Cronenberg's first movie, Antiviral, was that the name of it? Was a cool concept, had a cool performance, and was so fucking boring. And then in his second movie to be like, yeah, cool concept, cool performances, and super watchable, I'm in. Like the suicide stuff and all that, the gore, that doesn't get me in the door like it used to, but it definitely was like on top. Like it was a good movie. So like I'm a fan of Brandon Cronenberg now. I think he made a great thriller, and it just happened to be like super gory. So Possessor blew me away from what I was expecting. I love Angela Riseborough. I think that's her name. Yeah. And Christopher Abbott were both really good. I rewatched the ending. Zach's totally wrong. And yeah, I bought it on 4K, definitely a force feed, and so I've rewatched it twice, and it was better the second time. The ending.
Wait, you've rewatched it twice or watched it twice?
I watched it twice. No, don't be.
Oh, I thought you said you rewatched it twice. I was like, oh shit, this guy fucking loves this shit.
No. No. I rewatched the ending. Everything that Zach thought about the ending is just wrong, and not to single anyone out.
I agree.
But
wrong.
Yeah. Just honestly, killer movie. Wasn't expecting it. Even my wife, I was like, oh, it's supposed to be. I was like, it's called Possessor Uncut. She's like, why is it called Possessor Uncut? I'm like, oh, because it's so gory. They didn't want to rate it. She's like, no. And then she was fucking watching it, being like, this is amazing. I don't remember exactly what she said. She might have said straight banger. Like, it was like, yeah, she loved it. So,
no, it's a great movie.
You know, David Cronenberg meets Tony Scott. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Possessor.
All right. Number 4, Possessor.
Woo!
Dude, literally my number 4 is Possessor as
well.
well.
Yeah!
Oh, shit!
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
I loved this movie.
Right?
I loved it. I thought it was very entertaining. The concept was awesome. I loved the sort of like retrofuturism that it had, you know, sort of the devices it sort of set up was very cool. The world building was very good. And I talked to Zach about this on the podcast too, was the sort of like near futurism concept of even like a minor thing of everyone smoking, but everyone smoking vapes, you know, was sort of just like a interesting thing, just like a little tidbit world building thing of everyone smoking, vapes. Everyone's smoking a vape. Yeah. Why? Yeah. Yeah, you still sort of have that retro feel to it as well with like the technology. I thought was very cool. That was very entertaining, and the more I like after the movie, the more I thought about it, and I was just like, it kept going up on my list, my mental list of movies.
Hell yeah.
And I look back and I'm like, which ones did I like really, really fucking enjoy? Possessor's definitely up there. You know, like I just had a great time watching it. I bought it actually because it was like $6 on Amazon to purchase, so I did buy it. So I actually can't wait to watch it again. I haven't watched it. I've only watched it one time, but I will be watching it.
It's so good.
So
yeah, I'm really excited to watch it again.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So yeah,
right?
Possessor.
Like I just can't believe how good it was. Just so much better than it should have been. It was like fuck. They just
it's totally real tight and like enjoyable. You know,
I just couldn't believe it. I was like, I'm actually watching like a really tight like no one makes low budget thrillers. I don't get why they don't do it. It's just like
it was very low budget, but it, you know, that's exactly what it needed to be.
Oh yeah,
you know, it didn't need to be anything more than it was.
Rotating camera was really cool too.
Yeah, and just the sort of
people,
obvious
like weird like
the wax, the practical effects were very cool. Very cool.
Loved
and you
it.
Clearly had like a Cronenberg influence. I mean, he's the son, right?
Fuck yeah.
But it wasn't, and to take what Zach had said before in a previous podcast, it wasn't beholden to his style, right?
No.
It wasn't beholden to his father's style. Sort of just like he learned his techniques and used those for his own film.
Yeah.
Right? And it totally works.
For sure.
And
hell yeah.
I need to watch this thing again.
I loved it.
Tight as a drum.
Good sci-fi like thriller film.
Yeah, so rare.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Number 4, Zach.
Wes,
number
you're having
4.
a great list. You know, we're lined up, we're syncing up a lot.
We're syncing up.
You have great taste.
Usually you and Zach are sort of lining up. Now it's it's you and me.
It's
I don't.
Sliv.
Yeah. Zach and I are done. You know, we don't work together anymore. Like Zach and I barely see each other. We see each other once every couple of weeks. I don't know what's happened, but I don't.
It's
don't
really
see him
hard to
anymore.
tell. Yeah, because there's like nothing at all has changed about our circumstances or stuff. We just don't see each other. You know, it's like what was this silent falling out? It's not like there's a global pandemic or anything.
There's
you know?
I don't know what that is. Yeah.
The last time Zach was in my house, I mean, it's been a week, and that, we just never. They never come over anymore, and it's
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Yeah.
Oh, my number 4 is The Five Bloods, which we've talked about quite a bit. But I'll just say that I thought it was real
It's good, man.
And yeah,
Is that the second movie on all 3 of our lists?
I think so.
I think so.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, great movie. Love the performances. Love the genre hopping. Love the mixed media, the different aspect ratios. I don't know. Spike Lee rules. We're all fans. It's a great
So
one.
good.
Don't have much more to say, but just love The Five Bloods. Just a fucking, I don't know. He makes like the best, most moving long movies. Like they just fucking move, and there's like they just feel like so packed with shit. You know,
Hell yeah.
it's great.
Yeah.
Love it, love it,
Spoik.
Love it.
love it, bro.
Cool.
Cool.
All right, we're going
Top
final 3.
Number
3.
3, baby.
Top 3.
All
1,
right.
2, 3.
You know,
1, 2, 3.
a lot of people have been wondering what gets the Sean Pierce bronze, and for 2020, the bronze trophy goes to Lovers Rock.
Nice.
Nice.
This movie, love it. I saw it. I saw it a while ago, but I rewatched it. But the first time I saw it, I literally knew nothing about it. I knew that it was a part of 5 films, and that it was 72 minutes long. And I was like, let's see. And then it just starts, and it's like very aware of what it is, but at the same time one doesn't know that yet. It's like, oh, okay, it's just kind of like starting slow, but it's like it has the pace of a party. And for me, I feel like it's like an art gallery exhibit meets like a Richard Linklater movie, and the best parts of Richard Linklater movie. Like it almost feels like a Dazed and Confused,
that's a good point.
or Everybody Wants Some, but about a culture that I would have never been a part of. And then there's certain moments where you're like, oh, this is so light and breezy and fun, but then it's also they're having this party because they're not fucking allowed at clubs, and
yeah,
they're
totally.
but they're making the most of it. And I just loved that sort of back and forth. It's constantly taking you in and out of that like weightlessness of a party, where there's a certain moments in every party where I think everyone has that moment where they might have come in with baggage, but then they get a little drunk, they get a little dancey, and then suddenly they're having fun. But then, you know, you're like, oh, fuck, it's 1 a.m. You know, like there's a reason that like no one ever sets out to stay up till 4 a.m. or to
Right.
go home with a guy and to swing by his workplace. Like it's just, you know, and it's like, and it's not, it's like, cause you don't want that night to end and that sort of thing. But then it's constantly showing you also these factors that are affecting them, whether it's the men outside the party who are like threatening with the noise complaint, or when they go to his place of employment and the boss fucking makes him do this puppet thing, and then he has to put on this fucking work voice to appease this employer so he's more employable, where he can't talk in his natural dialect. Like I was so moved by it, and it's so effortless that it's almost like easy to think it's not hard to do. But like even like close-up shots,
Seriously.
like it reminded me, like certain great movies feel like they remind you of your favorite films, where like a lesser movie, you can tell they're ripping off your favorite film. Like certain movies I love get ripped off a lot, and I'm like, oh, that's a Paris, Texas ripoff. And then other movies is like, oh, that feels like Paris, Texas. And certain parts of this movie felt like Wong Kar-wai, where Wong Kar-wai is the master of these intimate moments and these little touches, and I felt like Steve McQueen was channeling that with like on the dance floor, hands on the back, and like the guiding of the hand, and certain things like that, like not knowing what to do with your hands when you're dancing with a person for the first time and you're flirting, and it was just like, holy shit, like this movie is nothing and it's everything. It was just so good. Loved it. Loved the camera. It was definitely the most bold camera of the 5 films. I selfishly wish all 5 films had this bold of a camera. I thought there were some really daring moments, and like it just like makes it seem cool to dance to kung fu fighting and to dance to like silly games. Like I fucking loved it. Yeah. I could talk about it for at least 15 more seconds, but I won't. Lovers Rock.
Well, I swear to God, I have my list written down way before any of this.
Shit.
My number 3 is Lovers Rock.
Woo! And
to sort of follow up with what you're saying, Sean, I don't know what else I can really add to it other than what's already been said, but it just feels so effortless, and to sort of have the phases of the party that we've all been a part of, that we've been to, and just sort of seeing that played out effortlessly in a film that everyone sort of just understands was really interesting. You get those really nice, beautiful vibes of just unexplainable energy, and then you also have the moments of people being too fucking wasted and causing trouble and all this other shit. So you have both sides, and it was a very just effortless, just snapshot of an evening that I don't think you can plan a movie like that to where you know what I mean. Like he probably set out to make this movie, but you can't plan it to be as effortless as it came out to be. It was just so natural.
Totally.
It just like exists, it's just like that's so rare. So crazy.
And that's written off as easy. Like like that sort of thing is
but
like,
it's not.
It's impossibly hard. I can't believe it.
Yeah. But also just some of the moments I really jived with were just some of the moments where they were just like enjoying the music. There's like the sexy moment, of just everyone sort of dancing. There's something just like kind of magical about that, and I don't know. It was great. There's just like there's nothing I can find wrong with it, too. Yeah. It just and it's so short too and snappy.
So easy to watch.
It just feels like so easy to watch, so enjoyable. Just sit back, grab a beer, and watch this movie, and you feel like you're like part of this party.
Yeah.
And again, what another strange thing to sort of experience after this year. It's just like something that's just like it's something that takes place in the past, but it's like, man, that's something that's another reminder of like the shit that we're in,
Oh yeah.
But when you watch it, you're not like, oh, this is terrible because I'm not there, but you feel part of it,
Yeah.
And man, and I unfortunately I still haven't watched the other films of Small Axe, but I went to this one directly because I heard so much about it and loved it.
Fuck yeah!
Loved it. So, Lovers Rock.
Woo! Yeah.
That's all I gotta say about that.
Banger. My number 3 is Echo.
Oh,
which is Icelandic movie. It's like 50-some vignettes.
You dog.
Let's see this one.
Huh?
You dog. This.
I love this movie. It's so good. It's up my alley. It is.
Yeah. I haven't seen this movie.
Sean recommended it to me, and it is. He appropriately stated it as Roy Anderson light, which I do kind of agree with. But hey, Roy Anderson light is like.
This was on my list up until about an hour ago.
Oh yeah. I really loved it, and I do think it's. I mean, also calling it Roy Anderson light. I mean, it's its own thing too. A lot of the vignettes are very short, which I liked, and they definitely vary in length, but some of them are just really impactful, and it's in Iceland. It's all around Christmas time, and just the way that it can kind of dip from something that's just like really funny to something that's like overtly sad, or something that's just like quietly sad. And I don't know, there were a lot of just like really great moments and really strong ideas for these like tiny vignette shorts that kind of just are like jumping all over the place and like very disconnected, but also, you know, connected thematically in a way, and some of the transitions are interesting. And yeah, just a really great movie. Really liked it. Super up my alley. Yeah, looks great. Loved it. Nice. It's kind of a hard one to talk about because it's like, you know, tons of tiny little bits, but I think
it
collectively
also just to add on it,
it
shows off Iceland. As someone that's spent a very wee bit of time in Iceland, it just shows off aspects of Iceland in a way that's just really cool, and like makes it just seem like, what the fuck is this place like? There's certain wide shots, and then close-ups, and then the humor, and then there's landmarks. Like every vignette looks different, like in its frame, and it really shows off different aspects of Iceland in a way that's really cool. And honestly, I think
it's like an alien planet, Iceland.
Absolutely. It's like an alien planet where everyone's really nice and talented at music. It's like, where is this? Yeah. It's
really?
They make the coolest music. It's just like, anytime you're like, how the fuck did they come up with that sound? It's because they're Icelandic. Like
wow.
Not Bon Iver. Like Bjork, Johan Johansson, and who's Sigur Rós are all Icelandic. They're just like,
that's true.
It's just like the
good point.
Crazy tones is just Iceland.
Mm-hmm. It's nuts.
Anyway, yeah,
it's a crazy language too.
Oh, it's fucking ridiculous. As someone that drove around all of Iceland for several weeks, it was like, I won't even do it because it's just like makes me seem like I'm mocking. Like it's just like I would always have to ask for directions, and it was fucking humiliating.
Awesome. I haven't heard of this movie.
Yeah, it was on Mubi, which to recommend streaming services. I think that Mubi is a really good collector of international film that might not be it's not for everyone, but they have so many amazing niche pieces of cinema. Yeah. Like Echo is.
They got a bunch of Roy Anderson on there.
They have Roy Anderson on there. They also have this movie called Overseas that was like, I think maybe 6 people would like it, and I was one of them. But like just certain things like that where it's like you have to be in a very specific mood, and it's really hard to just throw on. Kind of like Criterion Channel for some people. It's very curated, but yeah.
Movie like they add a movie every day that's on there for like a limited time, so I think that also is a motivator, because like this movie popped on there and I was like, oh, I gotta watch that, but I only had so long to watch it, and it forced me to watch it, and then I loved it. And it's like, sometimes I need that kick because I'm gonna enjoy it. It's just like the decision to do it.
Just do it.
It's like, am I really going to watch this fucking long-ass, dense movie right now? Like, I really want to see this movie, but there's a reason I put it off for so long, you know?
Yeah, and you fall into rhythms with it, where, like, for, like, certain weeks, it's like, oh, I'm watching all the movies before they leave, or I do that with Criterion, where I don't watch Criterion Channel based on what just got added. I watch it based on what's leaving month. Mm-hmm. And, like...
That makes sense, yeah.
That's not a great way to watch stuff, but... That's where I'm at.
I don't know. It's a motivator.
It motivates.
There's so much stuff to watch.
I'm always wishing I was a better watcher. That's like just a totally random thing.
But. I mean, I agree.
I agree too. I mean, there's stuff on Hulu that's the same thing. There's like a Leaving Soon. You know, there were some movies I think I watched this year that like Leaving Soon, and it's like, well, I gotta fucking watch it. You know, it's like gotta watch it. It's here.
Gotta do it. Do it while you can.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Alrighty then, number 2.
All right. So number 2, Spanish.
Better not say my movie.
Huh?
I'm just kidding. I said you better not say my movie.
Oh no, I think I'm gonna say Zach's movie. I'm gonna say Truffle Hunters.
We'll see.
Yeah, we will see. Truffle Hunters is one that I watched at a festival because something we haven't talked about this year that I fell into in a big way was virtual film festivals, and that was because I was a part of several that was really cool, and they give filmmakers free access to all these movies, but B, it was really cool to be a part of film festivals that I've never been a part of, like New York Film Festival, some other ones. And then also, even most recently, I know at least Zach caught something at Sundance and a couple things, and so did I. And like that, it's fun to be a part of a festival that I've always wanted to go to, at least virtually. So
yeah.
So I guess 2020 was interesting in that aspect. And one that it allowed me to watch was through the New York Film Festival. I watched quite a few films, and one of them was Truffle Hunters. And Truffle Hunters is an Italian documentary about the art of hunting for truffles, which is so much more complicated than anyone would ever really feel the need to make it. And it's so cliquey and pretentious that it's perfect for a documentary. I think I texted Zach and I was like, you have to watch this movie. It has a ton of old men ranting about gibberish and people sniffing truffles in wine glasses. And Zach was like, how can I watch this? And there's certain things that like I know people are on the same wavelengths, and this is certainly a wavelength movie. Like I watched this, my wife and I, we went away for a weekend, we rented a cabin, we watched this movie on a date night, and it was a great night. It was just like a great night of just watching people sniff truffles and watching POV dog cams,
drinking wine,
GoPros mounted to like the snouts of dogs, and it's just a lot of old men talking about the secrecy of truffle hunting and just like how they'll never spill their location details. Like if any like there's just a certain level of documentary that I really respond to, and this is like totally in my wavelength in terms of it's got that level of, it reminds me almost of like Safari, which is a documentary I know Zach also loved. But if you took that heaviness about animal poaching and made it about like classism of truffle culture, where you basically like only poor people hunt for truffles and they spend their entire life and it totally dictates their life. Middle class people can't afford these truffles and only the rich can actually buy these truffles. And then they're done through these like weird middle market brokers. So it's like this whole hierarchy, which obviously classism is something that keeps popping up more and more. And I think it'll only continue to. But like this sort of weird society where these rich people own a market driven by poor people who own the market through pride. And they don't get the money, but they get the pride. And then the rich people get the object, but they only have pride in the object, and that sort of dichotomy I think is really interesting. I would recommend this movie to anyone that likes funny niche cultures. I don't know. It's even better than something like Spellbound or certain documentaries where people are like, I can't believe I love something about the spelling bee, but like it's just I don't know. It hit on several
It's really
things.
endearing in a certain way too.
Absolutely.
Like, it's just all these like honestly cute old men just like petting their dogs, being like, I'm not telling you where the fuck I'm going. And then like they run into some other truffle hunter and they're like, shit ain't the way it used to be, huh? You know,
absolutely,
just like reminiscing on the old days of like truffle hunting with their dogs.
So good.
And, like,
there's so
it's
many
just really
things.
great.
They love their dogs. I love dogs. Dogs, right? Am I right? Dogs?
Yeah.
So yeah, it combines some of my favorite things. Dogs, old Italian men, and food culture being pretentious. So I loved it. Yeah, Truffle Hunter.
It sounds honestly right up my alley.
I think you'd love it too, Wes. I think you'd love it too. It's hard to see, but yeah, it's a good one.
I didn't see it. I think Zach had talked about it in a previous podcast, and I completely forgot about it because I think it was just like really hard to find. But I
great
wish
one.
I'd seen it because it sounds like something I would really like. It sounds really, really fascinating. So
Yeah, Zach just has
We'll
the
definitely be
unfortunate
checking it out.
pleasure of me just sending him movies and saying you need to watch this.
No, it's great. I was like, oh
No,
shit,
that's awesome. Yeah,
I would always like Truffle Hunters. I was like, I gotta watch that. And then they like extended it, and I like watched it on like the last day or something. I was like,
awesome.
yeah, just in time.
Well, we'll see if it
That's
was on your
great.
list. Maybe you watched it in vain.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Who's to say?
No one knows. No one will ever know.
I also especially love food culture. My wife and I always watch a lot of like food documentaries, food shows.
So what's
It's like
the
one of our
current one?
things.
What's the current food session?
Oh man, I think right now we're watching Bobby Flay and Giotti
Ooh.
in Italy.
I've
nice.
seen the
Okay.
promos, but I haven't. Is it good stuff?
It's good, man. I've always wanted to go to Italy and see them two very rich chefs travel through Italy as millionaires and sort of experience it. It's kind of annoying, but it's also like, I don't know, they are doing all the cool shit. So
Yeah, totally.
and they're making this like amazing Italian food and having this incredible wine. I love that stuff.
Love
so.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anyway,
Number 2.
my number
let's hear it.
2. Number 2 is First Cow.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Think we might be hearing this maybe a little
see.
bit sooner.
Who's to say, Wes? All right. No one's
who's to
revealed
say?
anything yet.
I highly doubt that.
Just a delightful film. It was my number 1 for most of the year when I watched it.
Until Wonder Woman.
Just a tell Wonder Woman. God damn it.
What a piece of shit.
It's so bad.
Yeah, so bad.
So yeah, this just a very simple, just a delightful little film about this Chinese immigrant and this Jewish immigrant. They are in America, just trying to make it, and they come across a sort of business that seems to flourish after they end up taking some milk from a cow. And create this product that seems to take off, but they're completely reliant on this cow's milk for it. That's basically the movie. And as weird as it sounds to just say that's what it's about, it's completely delightful. I loved every second of it, and I wanted to immediately make whatever they were making.
Yeah, totally.
And I found that I really gravitate towards films that are simple lately. Films that just have a very simple concept that sort of relish in certain small moments of life. I really have found to really enjoy. And for me, that's what resonated. It's just very simple sort of glimpse of this almost Western style of American civilization, of these guys just trying to make a business, trying to make a living. And yeah, it's just very delightful. So there's not much else I can say that I'm sure maybe other people might say. But yeah, love this movie. Great film. Kelly Reichardt made it. Loved it.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Check it out. First Cow.
Interesting
Fucking
choice.
A24,
baby.
Interesting choice. We'll see if that appears again. We'll see.
Who's to say?
Who's to say? Number 2, Zach. That's on you.
My number 2, Sean, you pegged me. What can I say? The Truffle Hunters,
Oh.
Yeah.
Just a great movie. Just a delight. Old men being upset about the way things are, and that and petting their dogs. I don't know. You said it better than me. It's a great movie, and I feel like also, I agree with everything you said about it. I think the juxtaposition of things is really interesting, and I think that's also kind of presented in it tonally and stylistically, the way that it's very sort of reserved and like these like wide long takes and like all this sort of like very like polished sort of like proper like look, the very observational, but then also like GoPro mounts on dogs. You know what I mean? And it kind of like has fun and like doesn't take itself too seriously. And I think that's kind of what's so nice about it. Just a very endearing, charming movie that I had a big ass fucking smirk on my face the whole time watching it, and just a delight. So yeah, the Truffle Hunters, 5 out of 5 banger.
I need to watch it.
Yeah, it's great.
All right, awesome. All right, we are in the number 1.
My number 1 of the year. I was supposed to go see in theaters, and the next day I was supposed to travel to Arizona, but this novel virus called the coronavirus 19 happened, and
Something
it was like that weekend in March where everyone kind of knows what I'm talking about, where it was like,
where everyone's
you guys
like,
hear
should
about
I
this?
not do anything?
it was like I was
is
like,
this bad?
I'm not
Like-
gonna go because I need to go to Arizona, and I just like need to pack, and it was like it was just a lot. So I was like,
Yeah.
look, this virus will be over in a couple weeks. I'll see it then. And the movie First Cow then subsequently just got fucked on the release. You know,
It got
never
so
really,
fucked.
sometimes always, $20, April 1st. They were like, look, it's already out. Let's do it. First Cow took its sweet ass fucking time coming to home video. But it
Yeah.
was worth it because, believe it or not, the director of my number 1 film of the decade made a film that was my number 1 film of the year. And First
Who the
Cow,
thunk, right?
you know, what do I miss in 2020? I miss friendship. I miss being able to experience stuff with friends. I miss running a business, working in a workplace. I miss the tactile nature of cooking for others. And all those things are summed up perfectly in First Cow. I love the movie. Loved the cyclical nature of the film. Loved the way it started. Normally I don't like when stuff starts a certain way, but I felt like the way it ended. Kind of it just everything just was very subtle but felt justified. Zach, I have a confession. I bought some beef fat. I was gonna make the actual recipe from First Cow of those things
Oh,
and
Shit.
have Karen drive them to you during this podcast. But
oh my god.
I got
Oh,
lazy.
shit.
I looked up the recipe. I bought the ingredients, and honestly,
Why are you telling me this?
I got lazy.
You bought the ingredients and everything?
Oh, I got yeah. I'll be honest.
You
I bought them.
bought the ingredients and you didn't make it.
Yeah. So I'll make them eventually, and I'll give some to Zach. I've given Zach some other food in the past, but
yeah, he has.
yeah,
Very
but
nice.
I will. Yeah, I was like gonna
Just
do it
say
for the
you're
podcast.
selling yourself short. You know what I mean? You
I was gonna do it for the podcast because like the food.
And
in
if
the
you
movie,
feel like sending some down to Orlando, I won't
Hey,
complain.
Wes, if I could, if they were gonna have, if they would still be,
If they
warm,
would have-
I would love to.
Yeah.
You know, like, never has like the thought of like a freshly cooked meal been captured so well on film as like this movie, and it's so low key.
Yeah.
It's basically just like meat donuts where they fry it in beef fat. Like it's like okay, like fuck, like beef fat donuts. Like yeah, let's do it. But
Yeah.
they just
It's
and they
like,
like
okay.
cover it in honey, and I'm like fuck. Like I love a
The
fritter.
honey is the best part.
So like I'm definitely look forward to these coming your way in the next 4 to 6 weeks, Zach. When I
4 to 6
whenever
weeks.
to stop being lazy. It's been snowing a lot. I was gonna do
Yeah,
that.
it's fine.
I more just
plan
bring
my
it up because
days
like
on-
think about
on
how
going
cool
down
it would
the
have been
steps.
if I did do it.
It's a
Like, what if
very
you heard
nice
something
idea.
at the door right now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would have been
Like,
great.
ding
Especially
dong.
because you didn't get all your. We were just talking about how you didn't get all your food delivered. That would have been like.
Yeah.
But no. But eventually, when I do make them, maybe they'll. What is the line in the movie? It's like it tastes of England or whatever he says.
Yeah.
The
This
taste
tastes
of
of
England.
London.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
Cake tastes of London.
Which I would love if someone
tastes
bit into
of
my
London.
food and was like, "This tastes of Naperville." But yeah, so this tastes of Illinois, like which no one's ever said.
Yeah, what's Illinois taste like?
Illinois tastes like generic.
Hot
It's like,
dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hot dogs. Wes has been to Illinois, so
That's true.
he knows better than I. Yeah, I don't know
Hot dogs,
what Florida
pizza.
tastes like, but maybe those like
Shit.
deep fried gator
Yeah,
nuggets.
it's like a humid moistness. I think
Yeah,
it's
it just it's just grease with dirt in it. Is what Florida tastes like.
Yeah, what's the taste of Orlando? Is it like the turkey leg from Universal Studios Islands of
Oh yeah,
Adventure?
it's pure processed foods, you know, like pure yeah.
Disney
It's
Boardwalk.
McDonald's. It's McDonald's. It's
Nice.
what Orlando tastes like.
Well, Zach and I have been fortunate enough to hang out with Wes in Orlando. We went to downtown Disney, and
Yeah.
Planet
I forget where we
Hollywood.
ate. I think we
Oh
went.
yeah, we ate at is it Indiana
Did we
Jones
eat?
restaurant?
I don't know. Zach,
Oh,
we went there
yeah.
a couple times for work, and we saw you both times. I don't
Yes.
remember where we.
No, we actually went to you guys came over, we went to Yard House, remember?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
That
Yeah,
was
I
the first
remember
time.
that.
The big beers.
Yeah, that was the first time we got juiced, and well, we got juiced both.
And then we
times.
went to that other bar. We went to like another bar afterwards.
Yeah, yeah.
But
And then
that was fun.
so this is, and once again back to my number one, which was Jumanji that we wanted to go see in a D-box theater, but it
Oh,
wasn't
yeah.
playing when we.
Do
Amazing.
you
I
remember
wish
that?
Jumanji was playing at the D-box. That would
Oh.
have been so good.
That was good.
Incredible.
I've still never seen anything in D-box. That should be my first movie back. Is a D-box movie.
Yeah, we should get the
'Cause-
D-box going.
Because if there's anything that says "Welcome back" to theaters, it's being sprayed in the face with an unknown
Yes.
liquid.
With sense and being my favorite thing about those two is the seats move like you're in like a
Yeah.
roller coaster.
Oh.
So you can't eat at them. You know,
Yeah, it's
don't
really
get popcorn because your popcorn just ends up going everywhere.
I miss movie
Really
theaters
funny.
so much.
Oh,
Which brings
yeah.
me back
Me
to my
too.
number one of the year. A movie I didn't see in a theater. I had to watch it at my stupid house with my lovely wife, and we ate some takeout food. And
Careful.
it was a great night or whatever. And yeah, Love First Cow. Adjust your TV to have the correct black levels so you can watch it. I recommend watching it at night because if you're watching it during the day with glare, you're going to be experiencing some
It's a hard
washout.
glare factor. Yeah.
It's also it's a slower movie, so I recommend putting away your phone, drinking some coffee, and honestly just enjoying quality cinema at your local home viewing multiplex. But I've talked enough.
God damn it.
So I'm gonna sign off. But Wes, I'm genuinely super curious to hear about your number one,
Yeah.
Wonder Woman, 1984.
Yeah, it's clearly so probably a little break from the first cow talk, but bringing something back. My number one is Sound of Metal.
Oh,
Nice. Hell yeah.
I just loved this movie. I thought it was just, I don't know. I guess I can't really add on to anything other than what Zach has already said, but like the sound design was just so incredible. I just thought it was so interesting how it played with this concept in a way that didn't feel like too gimmicky.
No.
You know,
not
it
at
didn't
all.
feel like it was too gimmicky. It felt like just sort of like a natural and just sort of experimental way of doing it, but it didn't take away from the movie at all when it switched sound of perspective and things like that. And it constantly kept me on my toes too, which was the craziest part. Was like it felt like it sort of had like a natural slow sort of pace, but as it went on, I was like, "Where's this gonna go?" Like, I think there was a part like in the halfway through the movie where it felt sort of like a natural wrap up almost. I was like, "It's half." I paused it even. I was like, "What?" It's halfway through. What is going to happen at this point?
Yeah, totally.
He's and it picks back up and goes in a completely different direction that felt just completely seamless. And Riz Ahmed's performance is just incredible. Olivia Cook was great.
yeah.
I thought the story was just really well done, and the guy too, like we were talking about, the guy that was like who I think was like a non-actor, but maybe
Paul
maybe he
Raci.
wasn't.
He's an actor, but he seems
Paul
like a
Raci.
non-actor.
Yeah, okay. Oh, he was fantastic.
So fucking good in that movie. Like,
He was
seriously,
so
unbelievable
good.
in that
Way too good.
Yeah.
So good.
Way too good. Not only could he actually speak sign language, I don't know if he's actually. I don't know anything about him personally, obviously.
His parents
But
are
he
deaf.
played the.
I looked it up. His parents are deaf, and so he
Okay.
learned sign language. Yeah.
He knows sign language flawlessly. He played this like advisor role perfectly. And it ended up being more than just like, oh, this metal drummer loses his hearing. It ended up being just completely different than what I imagined, honestly.
Exactly. Yeah.
So good.
And I loved the ending. Loved
The
the
ending's
ending.
amazing. Yeah.
So that's sort of what nailed it home for me. So, yeah, that's my number one. Sound of Metal. Fucking banger.
Yeah, it's very good. Very good. It's just such a thing that, like, I read about it, and, like, you told me about it, and I know Sean watched it also and told me about it, and it's just like, yeah, like, I trust your guys' opinions. This is going to be a good movie. But also, like, I feel like I've seen this movie already. Like, I can totally picture what this movie could be.
That was my main thing with it.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And and it also isn't that in a way. Like, it kind of is that narrative, but it's just done in such like a subtly, like very precise way. Where like some of those scenes that just like don't feel just like the blocking and the eye lines and the way that everything's orchestrated is just extremely well done.
Oh yeah, the scene where he's drumming on the slide with the little boy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he realizes that he can speak through drumming with the vibrations with the little boy, and he can use what matters to him to speak to the boy, and then it's like a clicking moment, but then it doesn't all fully click because he still keeps going in a certain way without spoiling it. Mm-hmm. It's just like it just gets across how hard transitions are in a really subtle and moving way. It's great.
Yeah, one more thing I'll add on that is sort of, without giving away too much of the plot, is, I mean, clearly it's about a drummer losing his sense of hearing. That's the whole concept. Mm-hmm. But he goes through a process of, there's a lot of acceptance that needs to happen, and I feel like by the end of the movie, he sort of he goes through something, and he's at the very end, he sort of accepts where he's at, and like a sort of the most beautiful way that you like. I feel like that could be described. You know, the way he accepts it at the very end is what makes that ending so wonderful.
For sure.
You know, the process that he went through.
Yeah.
And to just sort of at the end, just sort of taking it in and accepting like a new path in life was. I can't even imagine going through something like that. You know.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful movie. Everyone should watch it.
Very good.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna conclude it. One more, Zach.
Surprise, everybody! First Cow. What do you think?
Thought so.
Yeah, First Cow fucking rules. It was the last movie I saw, or I guess before the pandemic. I saw Tenet, but
Tenet.
Yeah. It was a weird experience of seeing First Cow, because also it was like, well, I don't know who's actually going to be at this like Tuesday night 9:40 screening of First Cow. Probably nobody. But I do love the like low-key food movie aspect of it that I wasn't expecting. That was just like a really pleasant surprise. Obviously, like all her other work, like the visuals are great, and I just like love the way that everything's paced, and like just the way things are told in like her language is great. I also, like you were saying, Sean, I think the bookend is like really subtle and not something that I usually like in stuff, but like worked in a really effective way.
Oh yeah.
And I also just generally like just making a movie in this time period, focusing on the people that like you would never focus on in another movie of this time period, and just kind of like seeing like these different personality types kind of like thrust against this society that's always like portrayed way differently. And even though that's kind of just like inherent to the idea and it's accepted right away that you're not following like this, it's almost like a different Western could have existed just alongside it.
Yeah.
And I just like that conceptually, on top of it just being a great movie and having really good performances.
Also just being about platonic male friendship that isn't at all like homo, like it's just like this is like a period piece about like men that is like we're gonna be very sensitive because we're lonely, and it's not like I've just never seen that just being about friendship. And I think that those are certain things that like why is like friendship always like not enough for certain things? And that was to me was like really striking, that it was like a sensitive friendship period piece. I've never seen anything like that.
I haven't seen anything
especially
like that
about
either.
men.
Totally.
Yeah. And
especially
that's really
for the
great.
time period.
So
very cool.
Just a fucking great movie. Pretty much said all we gotta say about it. It's my number one, and it has been. I remember watching it and being like, I'll be surprised if
that's my number one.
That.
Yeah.
Like I'll be really surprised if I see a movie better than that this year.
I think actually
I
you
hope
told
I
me
do,
what you said, Zach. You said definitely the new James Bond movie, the new Fast and the Furious, and a bunch of others are all going to be better because they're all coming out this year, as well as the new Wes Anderson. And you went on a really long list actually about all the movies that were definitely coming out in 2020.
Can you imagine how different our lists would have been if like a lot of those movies came out?
Dune.
Well, obviously we haven't seen them, so we don't know.
But
French
there
Dispatch.
are all these aspects that like clearly are not an option now, but like probably would be.
If they're even half as good as Mank, they definitely would make the list.
God, fuck Mank.
I was so disappointed in Mank.
Mank's definitely the biggest stank of the year.
Yeah, I hate that movie more every time I think about it. Like, fuck that movie. It sucked. I did not like it at all.
I know, me neither. I really tried to for like the majority of the movie. I was like, it's gonna get good, and it just wasn't. Yeah.
What the fuck?
Fucking snoozer.
Which I guess gets into another thing, which is like
it's
a lot of duds this year. Of like I know Wes, you like Tenet, but like for me, the
I know you guys are pretty
Tenet
disappointed in it.
Was like I was like, holy shit, this could be like his best movie. It was not for me. Mank.
It's not his best. No, I agree.
Like I was like, oh fuck, Christopher Nolan's making a James Bond movie. Like this could be like the perfect. It's like, and I'm looking forward to rewatching it on 4K and the correct aspect ratio. But like also like Mank, I love Fincher, love him.
Oh, me too.
That thing
we all
stunk.
do.
Like so many great filmmakers made movies this year that were just like not their like best thing. Like it was just like,
I didn't watch it, but didn't you say the new Herzog was pretty disappointing too?
Well, he made like 18 movies this year, and all of them I watched two. I watched the one on Apple TV.
I didn't see that.
I watched the Family Romance LLC, and both were kind of like The new Sofia Coppola is disappointing in the sense of like I really love her films.
I actually watched that somewhat recently on The Rocks you're talking about.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I watched it probably a month ago, and I was like, oh, this one might be like a good top 10er, and I watched it, and I was a little disappointed. Yeah. It's fine. It's fine. That's
Wes, did you watch The Vast of Night?
The what?
The Vast of Night?
The Vast of Night. No.
I told Zach to tell you need to watch this.
Yeah, I forgot about this. I'm sorry.
I watched this movie and I was like, I think Wes is gonna fucking love this thing. I watched this movie. You gotta watch it. It's like, it reminds me of like early Spielberg meets Twilight Zone.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's on Amazon Prime in 4K for free. It was made for like $18, but like it's literally like set in the 50s. It's a bunch of like people talking fat. It reminds me literally of like Twilight Zone meets early Spielberg, and it's like it's cool. I feel like it, and it's like about like people talking on radio to outer space, and I feel like it could very much be right in your wheelhouse. I don't know, maybe you might hate it, but you gotta watch The Vast of Night.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, don't watch.
I feel like I've seen the poster or something on Prime.
Also,
or something.
do not watch the trailer because it has the last shot of the movie in it, which is like my least favorite thing. But
that sucks.
Watch the movie. I think you would really respond to it. It feels like something that maybe you would have like wished you made or something.
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah,
I'll definitely check it out.
Oh yeah. Sorry, Sean.
Well, this is
I forgot to recommend.
This is a good segue to some. Now we could talk a little bit about television, maybe some stuff that maybe.
Yeah.
What stuff sort of came to you guys? Stuff that didn't make your lists. Things that were just like also good in the year, like television or at different pieces of media. Mm-hmm. Well, we can go around to each person to sort of shout out some stuff.
All right. Do you want me to go first? Because the numbers.
Yeah, start
sure.
off.
All right, so I'll do honorable mention. Do you want to do honorable mentions and then do TV, or do you want to do both at the same time?
I kind of combined mine.
Cool. Mm-hmm. So I'll do movies first. Movies that just got cut off the list. I'm thinking of Ending Things. Which, if I rewatch it, I think could easily be on the top 10. Love the cinematography. It's from the cinematographer of like Ida and Cold War. Really liked it. Kajillionaire. I really like this movie. I think that like it could be a comfort film. 11. Yeah, it could be a comfort film.
I'm surprised that wasn't on your guys' list, actually.
It was. I mean, I'll be honest.
I was between.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Ending Things, Possessor, and Kajillionaire were all kind of like every day they like switched order.
I didn't catch it, but I knew Zach liked it.
Yeah, I feel pretty similar from my number 5 to my number 15. So like something like I'm thinking of Ending Things, Kajillionaire. Also, the documentary on Apple TV, Boys State. I really enjoyed that documentary.
I heard that was really good.
I was not expecting
that was good too.
Anything from it, and I was like, this is super watchable, funny, clever. Like, I enjoyed it. City Hall, I watched. It's a 4-hour-long documentary about Boston City Hall.
I wanted to watch that.
And I've seen a lot of the director's films, and this one had super high highs, and then also like undeniably just some pacing things that like I love the movie, but like I'm sorry, but like pace is still a factor.
Yeah.
But there's a highlight of City Hall where there's a garbage truck going around Boston and just throwing stuff into the back of a garbage truck. And I don't know about y'all, but I've like long had this fantasy where I've wanted to make a movie about garbage people, garbage workers. And
yeah,
they're just showing this garbage truck smash different things into the trash compactor. And it's like long extended shots of like a couch. And it's literally just me sitting at my computer going, that's not going to fit. And then they just slowly, it just like smushes a couch into the back of the trash compactor. And you're just like, I'm sitting there and I'm just like, fuck. Like it was like maybe 2 or 3 minutes. And honestly, it was better than anything in Tenet. Yeah, so I would say like if I could cut that out as a clip and then send that to you, like it's the I watch a lot more than I should, like weird construction videos on Instagram, and it really scratched that itch.
Yeah.
Which actually brings me to my next point. Construction videos on Instagram. I got some good accounts. If anyone wants to know what...
Honestly, send me the accounts. I love Instagram.
Yeah, honestly,
yeah. I got some good ones. I follow a Hungarian construction account where they're always doing really weird stuff with like... I've been saving a lot of them for no reason into my favorites on Instagram, and I got some
send me
some
that
quality recs. And then perfect segue from Hungarian construction videos. Sound of Metal. Yeah. I mean, you both covered it. Banger.
Yeah.
Great performances. Sound design. Love the stuff with the kids. I found that really moving. Definitely the scene where there's a point where someone's forced to leave was probably the hardest emotional
thing. I'm even thinking about it now. I'm just like, God damn it, it's so sad.
It's so good.
And then Echo, very moving, some shots. It opens with this banger of a vignette about a burning house. I think that's the first one. Just some really good stuff. I'm a sucker for any time a car wash is featured in a cool way. This is a really cool car wash sequence. Some really cool skiing sequences. Also, no one brought it up, but there's this movie called The Climb that I watched that I don't know if I liked it or hated it, but I definitely would love to record a 2-hour-long podcast talking about every scene in this movie. It's a scene. It's a movie made up of like
Decline or The Climb?
The Climb.
Like The Climb.
Yeah, like climbing up a mountain.
Yeah.
It's basically about two friends, and they keep falling in and out of each other's lives, but it takes place over the course of like 10 years.
Oh, yes. Did you tell me about this? I've read about this.
I have not talked to anyone about it, because I just watched it last week. And
I read about this movie a little.
Dying.
I was curious about it.
I don't know. Like, I literally fluctuated between like, I fucking hate this movie and I fucking love this movie in a way that I just never do. Like, they're pretty, like, entitled, spoiled characters, but then also there's some certain scenes, there's like this, I don't know, it's just like certain scenes feels like it's exploiting people, and the other scenes feels like it's just like perfect. And I would love to talk to someone about this movie. Okay. It's mostly made up of single takes. Like every scene is basically a single take, and it's super low budget, but it's one of those where the first scene was a short film that played like Sundance and Cannes. It was like a big deal short, so then they got the feature funded, kind of like Thunder Road. But then every scene follows that structure, and it's just like so. I would love to talk about it. So
interesting.
The Climb, and then also I this weekend I watched Falling, which Viggo Mortensen wrote, directed, starred in, and did the score for.
What?
Whoa.
And it's about...
That's amazing.
Lance Henriksen plays his father who has dementia.
Oh, shit. I remember this movie.
You know, I've been going through some stuff with my grandma, and she's 93, and she's stuck in a retirement home and losing her mental state. And so, like, there was just some stuff that was very relatable, but also, like, it opens with this scene where like it keeps cross-cutting between the dad as a young father and then the dad now with dementia as Lance Henriksen, and I felt like the first half was a lot stronger than the second half because there's a lot of extended sequences of his dad with dementia just like going. Viggo Mortensen plays a homosexual character in the movie, and his dad goes on some pretty homophobic rants, and some parts...
it seemed like a lot of him yelling crazy homophobic stuff.
And some parts were, like, deeply moving, because it's also cross-cutting with, like, Viggo Mortensen as a boy, like, learning how to shoot a duck, and then, like, some really interesting scenes of, like, then when he shoots the duck, and it's, like, that scene's kind of cliche, where the dad's teaching the son to be a man, but then he, like, takes the duck home, and he wants to bathe the duck. And then he's, like, bathing this dead duck, and his dad's like, let him bathe the duck. And then, like, and then he's, like, sleeping with the duck. And he's like, let him sleep with the duck. And then he wakes up, and the mom's like, I gotta take the duck. He's gonna be supper. And then you're thinking there's gonna be the scene where the kid cries because then the duck becomes supper. But then he's like, let me pluck the duck. And then he's, like, plucking the duck, and then they roast the duck, and then the kid's all excited to eat the duck. And it's like, I've never seen this before. Where it's just like...
It sounds weird as hell.
Yeah, like, it's fucking weird. And, like, I don't know, like, because I was like, who did this score? And it was also Viggo Mortensen. It was like, what the fuck is going on?
What kind of score is it?
It's all,
he
like,
got some
piano
synths?
ruling.
Oh, okay.
But it's kind of interesting. And
I love Viggo's like, I did it all in my modular. You know, I got a couple.
Yeah, Viggo did a really intense theremin score. But, no, it's, I don't know. It's pretty interesting. So that's my last movie recommend. I know I've been talking for, timer says 3 hours. So I'll quickly say TV. There were a lot of shows that were like all about. They were kind of similar named, that were very different. So I kind of combine the names. I kind of forget them, but I May Destroy You on HBO. I don't know if y'all saw that. It was Michaela Cole wrote and starred in the show about about rape and different types of rape and who like the different perspectives of it, and it was just kind of mind blowing in a lot of different ways. Just very hard to watch at times. Also impossible to look away. At times very funny. I was like, I just have never seen a show like it. It was very emotionally powerful. I definitely, mileage may vary because it's very, I'm sure, very triggering for certain people and certain perspectives. So I would say know what you're getting into, but if you're open to it and ready to deal with some very heavy topics about rape and race, I don't think you'll probably watch a better show in 2020. And then I know this much is true. The Mark Ruffalo and his twin brother, played by Mark Ruffalo show.
Oh shit!
That
I dropped off of that one.
Never watched it, but
I fucking loved that show. I could not believe how good it was.
You told me when you started it, you're like, I'll let you know because I don't know if you should watch it yet or something. You're like, So
I know I recommended that once because Harold Budd did the score, but
good.
It's Harold Budd.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but it's so good. Also, some of the most for fans of the Avengers and the Hulk. Some of the most incredible special effects I've ever seen, because I truly don't know how they did it, because Mark Ruffalo plays both twins, and one twin weighs 40 pounds more than the other, and apparently he gained 20 pounds, played one twin. They shot all the scenes, handheld with zoom, all this stuff, and then he lost 40 pounds, played the other twin, and then he's in both. And it's like, yeah, I get when that show where Paul Rudd has a twin that's identical version of Paul Rudd, where they just did one setup and then did the other setup and probably had a mechanical camera. But they had to break for a month in between while he lost 40 pounds. So how in the fuck did they shoot the show? Truly, no one's talked about it.
Seriously.
I haven't seen anything about it. I Google it often. I don't know what the fuck happened. It's incredible. There's like
That's insane.
There's like shots where it like zooms in from like 400 yards away. It's probably like on a 100 to 400 lens, and they're really far away. And I'm like, how the fuck did they shoot this? There's shots where they're talking, and there's a common motif and a visual like metaphor of this waterfall, and it's them talking with a waterfall behind them on location, and it's them talking, and it's handheld, and I'm like, how did they do this? Like, I don't know what the fuck they did. And I'm literally like, and it's totally not the point of the show, but literally it's insane. I don't know how they did it.
It's like freaking out over
also, especially having the performances being months apart, that'll completely lend a different performance in itself.
It's incredible. Mark Ruffalo is
aside from the physical aspect, but just
it's the best thing he's done in I think over a decade.
Insane.
It's insane. Like, I was
insane.
Blown away. Incredible score. It also really feels like a novel. I've been reading a lot during quarantine, so it's been like scratching that itch of feeling like it's a book adaptation that actually feels like a book. There's like the narration that like kind of like Assassination of Jesse James, where you're like, oh, this is clearly a book. Like, it feels like that. And I would say probably one of the best shows I watched this year, and it's by Derek Cianfrance, directed every episode, who
I didn't know that.
Did Blue Valentine, but actually interesting enough for both of you, he directed this documentary called The Sound of Music, or The Sound of Metal, that was about that guy. It's a real guy in The Sound of Metal.
Yeah, and I saw he produced Sound of Metal.
He produced The Sound of Metal because he decided to, I don't know why, they haven't said why, but he decided to not put out the doc. And the guy that made The Sound of Metal was working on that doc with him, and then they decided it'd be better as a movie. So they were making the doc, and then that guy, I think he wrote at least one Derek Cianfrance. I think he wrote Place Beyond the Pines. but I forget the director's name. But that guy then ended up making The Sound of Metal. So it's like, I feel like The Sound of Metal feels a lot like a Derek C. and Friends movie. Like, I would say that like it feels like Blue Valentine or Place Beyond the Pines. So this, if you like The Sound of Metal, I feel like you would like I Know This Much Is True. There's some moments that are very heavy involving a newborn baby. So that's I bring that up because obviously Zach just had a baby, and just to be aware. But I would say I Know This Much Is True was very strong. So
for good things.
Those are my two recommendations. And then real quick, last one, just because no one else has ever talked about it. The Amazon show that I don't even remember the name of, that Mark Romanek directed, that I'm forgetting the name of.
I know what you're talking about.
God, I can't remember. I don't know.
I got it.
We gotta look it up now.
I got it. You're fine.
I own the score on vinyl, and I forget the name. That's how bad this is. But yeah, whatever it is.
Tales from the Loop.
Tales
from the Loop. Yep. That show is super underrated. People should have watched that show. It was very good. Philip Glass score. Check her out. That's it. I'm done talking.
All right. Hell yeah. That's quite a list. It
was too
don't
long.
think I can
too long.
Go into that. Yeah, but I've got some stuff written down.
Say hi.
Oh, kitty.
Oh.
I wonder if Louis picking up on Mike.
Louis, meow for the mic. She's not in.
I watched Devs and fucking loved Devs.
Devs rules.
Zach recommended Devs to me, and I was like, "Yep, this is right up my alley." Great fucking show. Another good thing that was kind of a special. Have you guys seen the show Euphoria?
Yeah.
Guys fans of this?
Karen loves that show.
Mm-hmm. It's a great show. There was one that came out. It was like a special, like almost standalone, almost like a shorter film, or a long episode. It's called Trouble Don't Always Last, and it was with Zendaya and I forget who plays his name, but
yeah, he was great in it though. Her like sponsor guy.
Yeah. The sponsor, her sponsor, and it's just like them sitting in a diner and just like talking, and it's just like so well done. Like,
yeah, it was great.
It was completely engrossing, entertaining, and an incredible piece of acting. You know, like that. Having these two actors just go at it for like an hour and a half at a fucking dining table was like incredible. So definitely check that out, especially if you like the show.
Did you watch part 2 yet?
I did.
Was it good?
Technically 2021, so I didn't.
I was just curious.
Yeah. No, it was fantastic. It was fantastic.
I still haven't watched the second part.
Really good. Much more of a regular episode, as it's just like various scenes, not just like one.
The actress wrote the episode, right? The second one?
Yeah, Hunter Schafer.
Yes. Yep, Hunter Schafer wrote the episode.
That's cool.
It's really cool.
The director just had a movie come out this weekend.
Yeah.
And I got to see that too. Malcolm and Marie.
Yeah.
John David Washington.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Tenet.
Yeah.
Tenet.
So anyway, that's some good stuff that's going on in HBO. I was a big fan of The Mandalorian this year. Season 2, Mandalorian. It was awesome.
Great from what I've seen.
It was great, dude. This season, I loved it.
Much money.
So much money.
The most expensive show ever. It
was amazing. It was like watching a short film that was a movie budget every week. It was so good.
Yeah.
It's a Star Wars film each week. It's insane.
It's great.
It was so good. Yeah.
Yeah, loved it. A show I ended up just like throwing on because it had some press, but it was sort of the early parts of that, and I think I just had nothing to do on a weekend, so I I popped it on Netflix. Queen's Gambit.
Oh.
I thought
was watch that.
Way better than I thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Thought it was really well done. Yeah. Great acting. Sort of based on a book about a woman who grows up and just is like a chess genius.
Yeah.
And she makes her way through her childhood all the way to like the most ultimate chess championship, I guess, that's like worldwide against like these really old men. Wins, and it's awesome. It's just a great show. Very entertaining, quick to watch. One season, that's all it's going to be. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And it really sparked, I think, a lot, not just for me, but a lot of people on the internet, of a love for chess. Just like,
do you play chess,
chess set now? Yeah, I used to play long ago. I haven't played in years, but it rekindled that. I was like, I want to play chess again. I thought Haunting of Bly Manor was pretty good.
Oh yeah, I haven't watched that.
Good little Netflix horror show. If you like horror, worth checking out. Nice little ghost story. I always love that kind of stuff. Vampires versus the Bronx, which was I thought was a really, really fun Netflix movie.
Fuck, I never watched that. You guys
reviewed that, and I was like, I'm gonna watch that. And
then I just
totally forgot about it.
It's fun. It's just like
you should totally check it out.
Well,
especially
movie.
when I think y'all talked about some Blade references. I was like, fuck.
Yeah, there's some really, really good Blade references.
They like know what it is. It's one of those, like, it knows what kind of movie it is. It knows it's silly.
Seemed like
and
fun.
Embraces that completely. Mm-hmm. Vampires are stupid and silly. We're gonna embrace that. These kids are facing off vampires in the Bronx. Let's have some fun.
Awesome.
And it's very entertaining, very, very fun. I loved it.
Yeah, it's a solid movie. It's really fun.
Yeah, way better than I imagined. Palm Springs was better than I imagined too. Thought Palm Springs was pretty good.
I haven't watched that.
Very entertaining, an interesting use of the sort of Groundhog's Day concept that we've seen before. But taking that concept of repeating time and doing it in a realistic way of like, what would you honestly do? Like if you had infinite restarts to the day, you know what? I'm going to go fly to Colombia, do a bunch of coke and fly back, and then the day restarts. So who cares? What's going to happen? Every day restarts.
It was funny. It was really funny.
Fuck it, Yeah, it's hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah.
So enjoyed that. Something that I was like looking through stuff that I'd watched throughout the year. I was like, 2020 feels like such a long year. I can't believe this happened in the same year. But Tiger King. You guys remember Tiger King?
I do.
Yeah, I never watched Tiger King.
Shit was crazy. It was a crazy documentary series. You should watch it, man. It's so nuts.
This year is so long.
It's so long.
Oh.
And it was like a cultural phenomenon.
It was such
it's
yeah.
fucking nuts. Yeah. You should definitely watch it, man.
I watched it.
Sean watched it. Zach.
A million years ago.
Yeah. Feels like 3 years ago.
Oh my god.
A show that I watched at the very beginning of 2020 was on Netflix. Just sort of a little show that I don't think a lot of people watch, but it's called Dracula, and it's a retelling of the Bram Stoker novel of Dracula, and done by BBC. And it's like 3 episodes, I think. It's really incredibly short.
Nice.
The ending I wasn't super crazy about because it does something very unconventional and goes off the rails that's not in the book or anything that you've ever seen before. Mm-hmm. Maybe worth checking out for that instance.
You said it's on Netflix?
It's on Netflix. Yeah, Dracula. It takes it one step further. Like, what would happen if the sort of continued? And I thought that was kind of cool.
Like,
wasn't super crazy about it. Well, I don't want to give it away.
All right.
But it
all right. I'm curious.
I don't want to give it away.
I'm curious.
But it's cool. But definitely those first 2 episodes where it's like a retelling of the novel is like real solid, like gothic horror shit. I loved it.
Cool.
And last thing I'll say, just an honorable mention. I thought Birds of Prey was like way better than I expected, and the best use of like a breakfast sandwich in a movie that's ever existed. You know what I mean?
I haven't
Have
seen
you guys
it.
seen it?
I haven't seen it, but I just love the tease.
you haven't you? I thought I saw you logged it on Letterboxd
Birds of Prey?
today. Yeah.
The Harley Quinn movie.
I logged it today?
You have seen this movie. You logged it on Letterboxd before. Because I was looking at Letterboxd earlier today, and I was like looking at movies that I watched this year, and I went on Birds of Prey, and you had rated it.
Wait, what's Birds of Prey?
The Harley Quinn movie.
Harley Quinn movie.
Look right here. Is your Letterboxd logging it?
I forgot that movie was called Birds of Prey.
It's just, I wasn't trying to call you out. It's just a funny thing where I was like, no, I noticed this literally like 4 hours ago.
I thought it was called
it's a terrible title.
I thought it was called The Fantabulous Emancipation of Harley Quinn.
I think it's called Birds of Prey : They actually changed the title after the movie came out. It's Harley Quinn : Birds of Prey is the title now.
Wait,
so bad.
So the movie
is another
called
Live, Die,
Birds
Repeat.
of Prey : the
Emancipation. Yeah, the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn.
And then they
was
changed
the
it
release
to
title.
Harley Quinn.
Birds of Prey. Harley Quinn: Birds of Prey is like the final title.
Okay, I now remember that she really wants to eat this breakfast sandwich at the beginning of the... Yeah, now I remember.
Yeah.
It's like a big, juicy... Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
it looks good.
She's in New York City, and she gets it from, a shop. What are they called?
Bodega.
Not New York.
Bodega.
She gets a bodega breakfast sandwich with the fucking oil. It's like straight out of a foodie
we
show.
gotta stop talking
movie.
about food.
It's incredible. Anyway, love that. And also the action choreography was done by the same guy who does John Wick. Mm-hmm. So you had some really awesome action. So I don't know, a movie that I thought was going to be absolutely terrible. So the fact that it wasn't made me very happy and surprised.
Nice.
And just worth shouting out. If you want to see some action,
for sure.
Birds of Prey.
You guys gonna watch Nobody? The Bob Odenkirk is buff now action movie with the choreographers of John Wick.
Buff Bob Odenkirk movie?
Yeah, I saw a trailer yesterday.
Is this a
What's
thing?
it called?
It's called Nobody. There's like a 3-minute long trailer. You gotta check it out. Well,
it's done by the same guys?
I've seen the poster for this.
They produced this movie, and it's directed by the guy that
I have
did
seen the poster too.
Hardcore Henry. But if you watch the trailer, dude's fucking buff.
Classic.
Bob Odenkirk.
Also, I looked it up.
Ass.
He's 58.
Wow.
That's old.
Damn.
Yeah, it's pretty old.
Hey, don't call out Bob Odenkirk.
Hey,
good for him, man.
But 58
Yeah,
is
badass.
And it's like
being in an action movie where you're buff.
Never thought Bob Odenkirk would be in a buff action movie.
Yeah. Like Bob Odenkirk was like a writer of like SNL 40 years ago, and now he's an action star. It's just crazy.
Christopher Lloyd's in the movie apparently
Show.
too.
Chris Lloyd? They got Chris Lloyd?
They got
Christopher Lloyd's in the movie.
Oh man! Once again, to go back to theaters, I would pay $100 to get juiced and watch Nobody in a theater. That's how bad. That's how
Hell
bad.
yeah, dude.
I'm jonesing.
Dude, hell yeah! All right, well that's basically my honorable mentions list.
Nice.
Good stuff.
Zach,
I don't
got
know
some mentions?
how many I have. I guess Kajillionaire was a big one. That was like just on the cusp of the list. Thought it was really fun. Loved all the performances. Kind of like a weird, like, for lack of a better way to describe it, like a Walmart version of Parasite, I guess. Like a weird, like, I don't know, like...
That sounds terrible.
Like, depressing American version of that, like, same, like, I don't know.
I would say more like strip mall version of
strip
Parasite.
mall. That's a better way to put it.
There you go.
But yeah, loved that movie. Also, really liked Never, Rarely, Sometimes, Always. Watched that recently too. Very sad. Always knew I wanted to watch it and just put it off for a long time because I knew it was going to be really sad. And it delivered on that. It was really sad. But it was also really good. It was a great movie and important, but really sad. I don't really know what else in terms of like movies. I'm sure there's some that I'm forgetting about. But in terms of TV, there were two shows I feel like that I really, really loved this year. The first was the season 2, but Joe Pera Talks with You is like one of my favorite shows ever. I absolutely love it. It's on Adult Swim.
Yeah, it's a good show.
And
on HBO
like
Max now.
Oh, it is?
In its entirety, yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
Very, very quaint, earnest, weird humor that's, I don't know, just kind of like stream of consciousness runoff. There's some where it's just all voiceover and weird stock footage, and then there's some that's like pretty narrative driven. I feel like the second season definitely got like more overarching narrative. But yeah,
funny.
I love that show. I think he's really funny.
I feel
And
like
the
we
other,
haven't talked enough about Devs.
huh?
I feel like we didn't talk enough about Devs.
Yeah, Devs is another one too. Really
You liked
loved
Devs.
Devs. Yeah, it was great.
Dev's just like mostly aired pre-pandemic, so it's like I feel like I forgot about it. But like that shot where it's going up that what's that thing called? The water, like the dam, and the bodies are falling in different parallel alternate realities. Do you remember this shot? It's like
Yeah.
I don't.
going up this dam, and then in all these parallel things, this one child falls.
Yes.
And
it's
then-
this like different.
Yeah. And then it gets up, and then
Mhm.
there's a conversation, so you know that no matter what's the parallel thing, this child is probably being pushed into the dam. Was like probably one of the most bold visual ideas I've ever seen, like tried to be discussed in
Insane.
television.
Yeah, it's very good. I really
Super
that
solid.
show is very good.
I love
Love
it.
the
I loved
bloom
it.
of the cinematography too,
Yeah.
and really cool score.
He loves that bloom.
Oh
Get it
yeah,
in,
he
baby.
loves like heavy bloom.
Oh yeah.
Bloom our
Loves the
Bloom
bloom.
champion, our Bloom king,
Yeah,
Yeah.
the savior
shit.
we need.
yeah. Nick Offerman also really good in that show.
Yeah, he was great in
Yeah.
that show. All the performances in that show were really
All the
good.
performances are fantastic.
Yeah, that was a killer show. And then the other one being that I was going to bring up, just How To with John Wilson on HBO, was probably one of my favorite things I watched all year and last year. Like I just really, really loved that a lot. And it seems like, I don't know, just like watching his older stuff too, and like seeing how it's just like so true to what he's been doing. And
Yeah,
just how like simple everything is, but also complicated. And it's like you could make this episode about like the Mandela effect that's like so funny but also so profound, and like has all these, or like the episode where there's people at the like referee meeting, and it's like examining this like weird referee meeting that everyone's having. Have you watched that one? And like,
yeah. Where
I don't
someone
know,
Yes.
takes the statue, or what's the thing?
Yeah. Yeah, they take
Dude.
the golden whistle or
Yeah.
whatever.
There's no
like, I don't
honor
know,
among
just
them
like
where-
so
That's a really good shout out because I binged the hell out of that show.
it's so good, right?
when it
Did
was
you
all
like
released.
it?
Also an
And
amazing
I
coronavirus
loved it.
episode.
I loved it.
Really good
Yes,
coronavirus
it
stuff.
was-
Yeah.
I can't wait for season 2. That's all coronavirus. It's the only coronavirus content I'm remotely looking
Yeah.
for.
That's
Give
what's
me
so
that
nuts.
content
It's
now.
like
But yeah,
it's so
anything
he
else.
captures the beginning of that too. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like that little brief moment, which is, you know, we're gonna look back at that in like 10 years and be like, whoa, you know, like how
Yeah.
fucking
Great
nuts.
show.
Even that already felt weird, just like seeing the beginning of it, kind of like revisiting the beginning of that breakout.
Yeah,
of
and he's like
things.
filming the TVs, and it's like, this is getting weird. It's getting kind of real, and then it goes on about it, and it's like, actually, this is getting a little more real. It's kind of weird, you know, like That's it really captured that feeling of like when Sean and I were gonna go see First Cow, and he was like, I don't know if I should go see First Cow. Then I was talking to my other friend. I was like, should we not go see First Cow?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good one to add, though. That was a good show.
Yeah, I fucking love that show.
So I know that we need to wrap up, but since we've been recording for 18 hours and Wes
it's been a long one.
Wes has to go to work in 3 minutes, but
yeah.
I was curious. 2021 predictions, just real quick. Are we gonna get back to the theaters? And then also,
no.
What's that movie that? Is there a 2021 movie that you'd be crushed if it got delayed? So 2 questions. We'll answer the first one first. 2021, will you be back in a theater? I think the answer is yes.
No. I say no.
I think I personally might be able to. I think I might personally go back at the end of the year, like near the end of the year. I think we might be in a good spot.
Like if you're vaccinated, would you go?
Yeah, I would go.
So you don't think you'll get vaccinated for until the end of the year?
No, because apparently I've done some research and I don't think I'll even get I don't think I'm even eligible to be vaccinated until like the fall.
Wow.
Over here. Yeah.
Crazy.
Not that I would get it now if I could, but I don't think I'm even eligible until like fall.
Yeah.
So I think I would. The problem is, going on, side tangent is like, for me, a lot the theater that was close next to me, like right next to me, that I was excited to like move next to when I moved here just before the pandemic hit. It was a cool little theater next to me. Closed down. It's closed now.
Damn.
Because of the pandemic. And now there's one. If I want to,
do you think it'll open back up, or is it closed for good?
Yeah.
Oh.
It was attached to a mall, which was already failing.
Oh,
it was.
Yeah. Malls are in a tough spot. How far away do you live from Orlando now?
Malls suck. I live definitely further out. I've moved way out.
Yeah, like an hour from Orlando, or like 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
Do you think like something like Pantheon is in trouble? Are you worried about a place like that?
A little bit. They're still going. It's a decent drive for me now, but
they're open currently?
Yeah. They're open.
What?
Damn.
They're open. They're doing coronavirus. You can go and the tables are like socially distanced, masks required and stuff like that. They're open though.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I feel like I would hope that I could go to a theater this year.
Oh yeah.
Man, can you imagine?
I hope so. For sure.
Whole
I'm just
year
not
without
optimistic.
going. No, I don't think things are going to be back to normal fully this year.
No, not even close.
I don't think so. And even if people are getting the vaccinations and stuff, I think it's going to be a weird, slow transition to being completely normal. Yeah. Of course, people down here are taking it way less seriously than people are in Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You drive around here and people don't even have masks on, so that tells you something.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a shit show over here.
That's tough. I would honestly just be in a bad mood all the time if I was seeing.
I am.
Yeah.
I am.
I can imagine. Like that would be really. I've had to like stop getting angry at like this kind of thing. 'Cause it's like I can't control that. So.
I'm totally with you, man.
According to now, I'm scheduled to get the vaccine at the end of March. Who knows if that'll happen?
Oh, that's.
But
damn.
That's good.
Where'd you do it through?
Well, no, it's you can look up on this thing what phase you are, and then when you can register. So I can't register, but I'm able to register for the end of March.
I thought you said you were scheduled, like you had an appointment.
My phase is scheduled.
Let me know, bud.
No, I would definitely text you. But like my phase is scheduled for end of March in Chicago, and like if that's the case,
the good news.
Once I get both, I would honestly probably still wear a mask in a theater, but I would go to like the music box, and like if I got both, just to like, not all the time, but for like if there was a movie that I was like pumped, like or if they were replaying like Phantom Thread and 70 millimeter because that's what they were doing a lot during like the quarantine time. I would definitely be like, yeah, I'd pop on that. Especially with like,
I mean, you're vaccinated, so why not?
Yeah, especially with freelancing where it's like I could go to a fucking 3 o'clock screening on a Tuesday. Like, I don't think there's gonna be many people in the theater.
Yeah.
But we did the Tenet screening, but that was highly controlled, and
you guys had that controlled.
There was like 13 people in a 200-person theater. So.
Yeah, that we like rented.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't. When I went, it was we went with masks. I risked it, but it was socially distanced, and we were in a row. There's no one else in our row or behind us.
That's
so
nice. That's nice.
We were fine. Masks the whole time.
Yeah, I feel like anything different, and it would be hard to concentrate on the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to the next question, is there any movie for 2021 that if it got pushed, you'd be genuinely bummed?
I think I have two. I have two. I think that come to mind right away.
What are they?
Well, for me, I think first one that comes to mind is Dune. It's just like I don't want that to be pushed anymore.
Yeah.
If it gets pushed, and then even if it's like okay, I'll be pretty disappointed.
Yeah.
And then No Time to Die. Don't push it anymore. Give me that James Bond. Let's just watch it. Come on.
Let's just watch it, everybody. Come on. Let's
just release it on HBO. Come on.
Yeah. Get over it.
It's been delayed like a year and a half, right?
Yeah, it's so
I know.
bad.
It's ridiculous.
And
stop.
Stupid.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think for me, I'm pretty pumped for that Joel Coen, not Coen brother, Macbeth movie starring Denzel Washington.
Very intrigued by that.
Haven't heard of this. That sounds
it's
awesome.
A Macbeth reimagining shot entirely in sound stages with Denzel Washington and Frances McDormand playing Macbeth and Lady Macbeth. And he referred to it as a thriller.
That's awesome.
So definitely a Denzel thriller directed by Joel Coen. Fucking pumped. Love thrillers. Love Denzel.
I love Macbeth. That's one of my favorite Shakespeare stories.
See, I'll be honest. I've never seen a stage production of Macbeth. I've seen like the movie Macbeth. Is it Polanski? But I've never seen like a stage.
There's a lot of iterations of it.
Yeah, that's awesome. But, so yeah, I'm pumped for that. And then I think there's a new Paul Thomas Anderson movie supposed to come out this year. That'll be exciting. I don't know if they actually finished filming it, but one that
I haven't heard about that since
would be the Wes Anderson one.
French Dispatch.
I would definitely be disappointed.
Yeah,
but I feel like that one even would be like compared to like Dune. It's like French Dispatch is gonna be pretty good. So even if it's like postponed, of course I'll be super bummed. But as opposed to like Dune, where it's like just release it.
It's more just like I want it done so then he can like work on something else or something. I don't know. Then the last one though, the one that is like the true one that I fucking need out this year, and I don't think it's gonna be good, but I never have wanted a movie to be more good than this. The Matrix 4. Fucking
good call.
Think that movie is gonna be so bad. But if it's good...
You think so?
Oh,
no,
I don't know.
I think it's going to be good.
I don't know.
I think it'll be good.
I
would love to be wrong. I'm hedging my bets.
It's not going to be shitty.
The thing is, this movie needs to feel so much bigger than Matrix 2 and 3. And honestly, needs to feel bigger than 1. And I just don't know how you do that. Honestly, it's like...
Yeah. Well,
that's a good point.
Yeah, but also, like, think about all the great shit like they've made and like
but none of that's been close to as big of the scale as The Matrix.
No, but I think I'm also a little.
It's a lot of pressure.
It's a lot of pressure, but I'm willing to like if Matrix 4 is different, like roll with the punch. You know what I mean?
It's written by David Mitchell. I love David Mitchell, the author. Very cool stuff. But I definitely.
It's only directed by one.
Yeah,
one
by
Wachowski.
Lana. I believe Lily retired from directing, and she now produces that show on, is it Showtime or Stars? That's a Chicago show that I've never seen, but I know people really like. But yeah, it's like Matrix 4. That's a big question mark for the year. That and I know I hinted at it before.
That's a big one.
The Sopranos movie. Those are mine. How about you, Zach?
I was gonna say Matrix 4, Sopranos movie, Dune, and also, I mean, I think it has a date now, but I've just been devastated that I can't watch this fucking new Roy Anderson movie.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get a fucking VPN to rent it from this fucking British distributor website, and it's not working, and I just want them to fucking drop this Roy Anderson movie that no one cares about on VOD already so I can fucking watch it.
It's 72 minutes.
I know, I just want it. I've heard it's disappointing, but I don't care. I just want to watch it so bad. And
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Here's another one for me. We kind of mentioned before, but The Green Knight. I need this movie this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need this movie.
Yeah, that's
I've been
definitely
waiting for so
it's
long.
like that's like double parked in your alley overnight for sure.
Yeah, and a buddy of mine for Christmas got me the Green Knight RPG game.
Oh, they got
I
it for
saw
you?
the ad.
I remember
for
I
that.
sent you that link. I was like, dude, check it
Yeah,
out.
you sent me the link, and my buddy got it for me. I was like, dude, this is amazing. I haven't played it yet, but it's like I'm super hyped now. You know, like I need to fucking see this movie.
Yeah. Really cool.
Last Night in Soho would be another good one.
Oh yeah, I'm excited for that. That'll be cool.
Yeah.
That just got
Hope,
delayed again.
Oh, it did?
I think it got delayed to October.
Classic.
There's so many movies. The new Halloween, like
Candyman.
Candyman.
Yeah, Candyman, the new Halloween.
New Halloween, that's another one.
I want these movies to just start coming out because, like, for example, Dune. There's supposed to be 2 of these fucking movies. So, like, if Dune...
I keep forgetting that.
If Dune 1 doesn't do well, like, so, like, by this logic, then Dune 1's fucked, right? Because there's no way, how would they ever measure that Dune 1 does well?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm worried that they're not going to make 2.
Like,
Oh, totally.
Denis Villeneuve should just have a blank check. There's certain directors that should have a blank check, and I think that, like, Paul Thomas Anderson's one of them. Come on. Give this guy $100 million. Like, how is Scorsese getting $150 million to make this, like, movie? It's incredible. But, like, maybe share the wealth a little bit, Scorsese, on this, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how is that guy getting $150 for this movie that seems like it's literally going to make $3 about, like, the birth of the FBI because of a murder on native land? It's like, this is 150. Like, I love that.
Yeah,
but, like,
150.
I don't want to take away from his success. I want other people to know, like, what he's doing. So then, like, I want to see PTA's $150 million movie.
Yeah, totally.
You know, like, how is, or, like, even, like, fucking, who's the guy that did Devs?
Alex Garland.
Alex Garland, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, give that guy more than $10 million. Like, let's see what that guy, you know what I mean?
Let's see
like,
what he can actually do with, like, a shitload of money instead of, like, making these, like, real conceptual small.
And not with Doctor Strange. Like, I want to see what he does with, like, you know, like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scorsese's got it down. I don't know who's Scorsese's reps, but they're crushing it. Like, The Irishman, $250 million. It was like, who thought that was going to make its money back? Love The Irishman.
That's insane.
Yeah.
But,
oh, yeah.
Movie.
But that much money? I mean, come on.
oh, love it. Such a good movie, though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I think that'll wrap it up for this episode. We had a pretty long one, but there was a lot to talk about. There's lots to talk about.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't get out much.
It's good conversations there. But as always, you can find other episodes of this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and YouTube.
Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and if you enjoy the show, leave us maybe a little review on iTunes, because every rating brings us more listeners. You can email us at listentousrantaboutmovies@gmail.com. Ronnie.
You too can be a producer and or supporter of this podcast by visiting our Patreon page and becoming a monthly patron for as little as $1. Visit www.patreon.com/LTURAM podcast.
All right. Thanks, Ronnie. Appreciate
Thanks,
you
Ron.
popping in there.
Really inappropriate,
Don't-
Ronnie.
Don't worry about what Sean says, Ronnie.
Don't listen to Sean.
And,
Let me just quickly add, if you've listened to this far, I believe we're roughly an hour 12 of this podcast. If you've listened this far and you don't donate on Patreon to these fine hosts, I'm not saying you should be ashamed because this has been a tough year, but I'm just saying have fun sleeping tonight because it's going to be a trouble because you're disgusting. And if you don't donate on Patreon, kick a buck. Kick a buck.
Throw a dollar.
Kick a buck. Kick a buck. That's $12. $12 a year. That's enough for them to rent a half of News of the World on premium on demand. Kick a buck. Kick a buck.
All right. Thanks, Sean. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Fun as always. Yeah. And, well, here's to a new year, guys.
Yep.
Awesome. Take care.
Thanks for listening to this Listen to Us Rant About Movies podcast episode. Goodbye, and I will see you again on the next show.